Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry we're
What's
so
up?
late today. Need to just turn my fan down a little lower here. Sorry. Um, yeah, so we're running a little bit late here. We may have somebody pop in a little later. I'm not sure. I'm working on that right now. That's what kind of kept me a little bit later here. And Dennis and I just decided it was a little bit later. A little bit later was better for both of us. So we're glad some of you are here. We appreciate it. I have changed my title of this program once again. Once again, I came up with a different name for it because I was like, man, that's just too much. So what I'm calling it is, what am I calling it, Dennis? Forgotten Metal Gems of the 80s and 90s. There we go. That is what we're going with. And I just need to pull up a document here real quick. Get out of my way. There we go. Cool, cool. All right. So tonight I'm joined by, once again, my partner in crime, Mr. Dennis OG Press.
OG
Dennis OG Press from out there in Nevada.
Nevada.
And how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Hanging in there. I was a little bit, as we talked about real quick before we went live, I was a little bit discombobulated today. So I apologize for that. But I did get everything listened to but one album. And I listened to one that you didn't, so we're even. So I'll get to the album I didn't listen to in a couple minutes here. We're going to do 4 bands today, which is pretty industrious of us, or what's the word? Adventurous of us. We're gonna
Definitely adventurous.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to get in here, so we may be here a little while tonight. But it's early for him out there, and I slept till 2:30 today. That's part of the reason I was off today. I was up till about 8 a.m. and then I slept till 2, so my schedule's all ass backwards. But so we got 4 bands, Dennis. Who you want to tell me your 2 bands that you chose?
I chose Savage Grace and Keel.
Keel. And of course, I was unfamiliar with Savage Grace, but I was familiar with Keel. I was there in the 80s when that was happening. And I'm going to tell you right now, I skipped the 4th Keel album, and I'll tell you why when we get there. It's the only one I skipped. I'll tell you why when we get there.
Your best record.
well, by degrees, I'm guessing, right? And then I picked, excuse me, Jakey Lee's post Ozzy band that he created with Ray Gillen and his post Black Sabbath band. And also Eric Singer was the drummer for that band, along with Greg Chason, who was, I think he was in a band, I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, something Steel, I think. Well-known session guy and player out in the LA scene. Cool dude. I'm going to try to get him on, actually. He's the one guy that does do interviews of that band that I might be able to talk to. And then I also picked a band that probably a lot of people are like, wow, everybody knows those first 2 albums, Crimson Glory, which we're going to talk about 3 of the 4 albums, because the 4th album, Midnight, had died and had been dead quite a while. And they tried a couple different live incarnations of the band and tried recording some stuff, and it just wasn't happening. They finally had Wade Black come in and do vocals on that album. I listened a little bit. It's not horrible. It's definitely better than the 3rd album. It's more like a return to form. But it's just so far outside where we wanted to stay. We really wanted to stay the 80s, maybe 91, 92 at most, maybe 79. You can sneak a year in over the we just wanted to try and stay in the 80s. So that one was so far outside the 80s that I just left it alone. I think everything else, though, we nailed. The one Badlands album actually did come out in 98, but it was recorded in 92. So I kind of felt that was okay to keep in. It was also the core original members. It wasn't a lineup switch or anything like that. So that's kind of the thing. And I did explain in my description, we're going to hit some bands here that are still functioning. For example, I think Keel still does those cruises on occasion. It's him and Mark Ferrari, and I think the original bass player is still with the band. But it's not the original OG lineup. Badlands can't. Ray Gillen's dead, and they've never tried to reform Badlands. Jakey has, what the fuck does he have? What's that called? Red Dragon Cartel, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, Red Dragon Cartel. The last album was pretty good. That Patina album was pretty good. And then we've got Crimson Glory, who kind of without Midnight tried to do a thing with Todd LaTorre. That didn't really work. I don't know what the story was. They did a Prog Power thing in 2009. They were like a special guest or a headliner, and they did a killer set, but they had like all these different vocalists come in. And let's be honest, man, Crimson Glory was kind of Midnight. If you know, we'll get to him and we'll get to them soon, but that guy personified that band. And frankly, so did Ray Gillen for Badlands. His voice was the sound of that band. And you get, whereas, and you probably could say for Keel the same thing. His voice is the sound of that band. The only band that probably doesn't fit in that realm here was Savage Grace. They had they had 5 different singers. Interesting story on that too. Back history we'll get into in a minute. So that's kind of the story behind what we're doing here. But if anybody comes in and goes, "Hey man, you picked Aldo Nova and he's still playing live," well, he hasn't played in 35 years, or he hadn't put an album out in 18 years, and Zebra hasn't put an album out in fucking 2004, I think was the last time they put out. So literally 20 years. They still gig every now and again. They still do the cruise thing every now and again. But the reality of it is, most of the artists we're picking are artists that are not still around. They're not Bon Jovi. They're not Motley Crue. They're not Rat, or some form of Rat, whatever 18 bands there are for Rat. But you know what I mean? That's kind of where we're at. So, Dennis, what you got coming up, man? Let's talk about that quick and we'll get into this.
So coming up, I do have some guest appearances on other channels. I don't know when exactly.
You can talk about, or
I could. I mean, I don't see why I couldn't talk about them, but I do have something coming up with Matt from Dark Path, Pat from Ground Zero Salem, and Ken from Ken's Death Metal Crypt.
Nice.
And Eli from I don't know his channel.
Dark Hymns of the Cold North.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm doing something for him too.
Yeah, so I was asked to appear or do stuff with those guys. Actually, I asked Ground Zero Salem for one thing. He'll be on my channel. The rest will all be on different channels.
Oh, nice, nice. You got any big videos coming up, or you just kind of do them and then drop them?
Shit. I mean, this stuff takes up so much of my time. Like,
yeah,
I do have more. I do got my old school 7-inch video. I'll probably be doing. I mean, I have an idea. There'll be a new series that's going to be coming out, and it's based on thrash metal. It's going to kind of be like this, but it's just going to be me. Maybe I'll have Sector join me on some of them, but it's going to be basically like classic thrash metal records, and we're going to like talk about them, but it's only going to be like what's considered classic. It's not going to be like, say if it's Metallica, maybe it'll be up to the Black Album, but we're not going to like do a full deep dive.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to do them all OG pressings. So everything will be like basically the reviews will be from the original pressing. So I don't even know why that makes it matter, but it's a little thing, you know.
You're not gonna have your boy on. You're not gonna have your boy on.
I mean, if you want, man. I just didn't think anybody would really want to get on with.
Oh yeah, I would love to talk like Possessed or fucking Forbidden. Of course, we did the Forbidden thing, but we can always talk more about Forbidden.
Oh hell yeah, then.
Yeah. So cool. I got what do I have tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. my time, Eastern time. I'm so stoked for this, man. Ken Mary is coming in from one of my favorite bands, Fifth Angel. We're going to talk about that because it's still a going concern. And I think there's a new album that they've been working on, which is going to be – I'm stoked.
I think it's coming out. It's coming out when that Icon record comes out, I think.
What's up?
I think it's coming out when that Icon record's coming out.
Yeah, right. Well, okay, that's another story. I'm working on that angle a little bit, but that's a weird one. But, hey, real quick. Phil says, "What's up, Jeff?" and OGD. I love it. OGD. That's it. That's your nickname from here on out, man. Love that shit. Frederick's in the house. Savage Grace. Yeah, but you know what, Frederick? I don't think anybody that's originally in the band is in the band anymore. I think it's a German. What's his name? Chris Logue. He's not. He disappeared, and nobody can seem to find him. What's up, Ryan? What's up, Motley Crue Junkie? Kyle? Oh, you changed your name. Okay.
Yeah, I think that Savage Grace is now like the touring band that they used when Savage Grace, when they did like a reunion type of thing.
Yeah, but Chris disappeared. I'm going to get into that in a little bit.
I mean, it's good shit though.
Is it? Okay, so real quick on me, I got Ken Mary coming at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Friday, I have Tim Bowness of, No Man, his solo projects, the Dolphin Brothers, Samuel Smiles, a lot of bands none of you guys have ever heard. Kind of a prog dude, and he also owns Burning Shed, the label Burning Shed, which does some really amazing, kind of an art house sort of label. They're fucking cool as hell, or not label, distro. Well, they are kind of a label too. They are a label. I'll get into that with him. So he's coming on bright and early my time, 9 a.m. Ugh, that's gonna be a tough one. Next week. The following week, I've got Xander Bradley coming in from Cryptic Shift, and we're going to talk about their album and where they're at with their new album and signing with Metal Blade and all that cool shit. And they just got done a UK tour. Yeah, that's going to be at 2 p.m. my time, 2 p.m. Eastern. And then Thursday night, I've got Max Phelps from Cynic, Death to All, and his own band, Exist, which is killer. Do you know them? Dude?
Exist?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I got to get you onto them, man. Oh, got to get you onto them. If you like, if you like that mid-period death, like Human, and you don't like mid-period death?
No.
You pussy. All right.
Man, I don't like that shit.
Really?
I'm not a technical death metal guy.
Oh my God.
I'd rather listen to Control Denied than that.
Guys, the show's over. It was a fun one. Anyways,
I mean, it's okay. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad.
I thought you were into death. I'm surprised by that.
I like the first, 4 Death records, and then they kind of lost me.
Human is 4th.
No, well, Scream Bloody Gore, Leprosy,
Spiritual Healing.
Oh yeah, and then
Human.
Yeah, that's the last one I think I got. Is Human.
Then Individual, was it Individual and Symbolic and then Sound, or is it Symbolic before Individual? I forget. Symbolic's next to last, I think. I
don't know. It just kind of lost me, but
yeah.
I think.
Okay, so the other things I'm doing too is next Sunday, I think at 2 p.m., 1 or 2 p.m., Kellen and myself and Logan, Kellen from Killing for Company and Logan from, hey, what's up, Chris? Kellen from Killing for Company and Logan from Drunken Metal Musings are coming on to my show, and we're doing the Yob catalog. So we'll be deep diving Yob. And the cool thing about that is Kellen grew up in Portland or Eugene rather, and went to their small little gigs before they were a bigger band. Not that they're huge, but they're bigger now than they were back then, obviously. And then what else? I got some other deep dives coming up. One is with my daughter and hopefully with Kelly from Atheist. We're going to talk about Jeff Buckley, but I don't have a street date on that yet. And then we talked last night about there he is. There's Mr. Logan. We're also going to do a deep dive on Catatonia. We decided last night, myself, Jake, probably Nick, and I think Jimmy. And I may invite 1 or 2 more people on that and have a big one for that. Dennis is out on that. He's not a big cat guy. Doesn't know him all that well. So we're going to talk about all that stuff coming up in weeks ahead. And, so that's kind of it. Let's get into this shit. So formed in L.A. in 1981 by guitarist Chris Logue and bassist Brian East, and active from 81 to 93 initially, Savage Grace put out 2 full-length albums, 3 demos, and 2 EPs until disbanding. The original demos actually included Randy Rhoads' brother, Kelly, on vocals, and the band was originally called Marquis de Sade, but changed their name to Savage Grace after Randy Rhoads suggested they switch to pay homage to the Detroit 60s and 70s prog hard rock underground legends Savage Grace, led by guitarist Ron Koss. Kenny Powell of Omen was also a member of Savage Grace from 80 to 81 and he doesn't appear on any albums, but he appears on some of the demos, I believe. The 83 one in particular. They also had a track from their 82 demo selected from Metal Massacre Comp on Metal Blades, the Scepter of, what's it called? Scepter of something. Scepter of. I have it here somewhere. I don't know what I did with it. Oh shit! I wiped that stuff out because I did listen to some of the demos. Do you have any of the demos?
No.
Okay, I listened to them. They're not much different. And I did listen to the EPs. I have a little comments on those, but so yeah, the original. I'm sorry. Yeah, so the first album in '85 had a guy named Mike Smith on the vocals. Then their second album, he kicked Mike out of the band because apparently he was having trouble making gigs. And Chris Logue sang on the second album as well as the '87 demo. As I said, the original demo had Kelly Rhodes on it, but then that was a little confusing. There's also a guy named Dwight Cliff that came into the original demo process. The 282 demos have a guy named Dwight Cliff on them. The 83 demo had John Burke on vocals. 85 had Mike Smith, and the follow-up 86 was Logue. So lots and lots of fucking lineup changes. Lots of the three main guys though: Chris, the guitarist and main writer, the bassist, Brian East, and the drummer, I forget his name. They were all pretty much consistent up until they reformed then later, and I believe it was 2009 they reformed. And Chris Logue was the only original member, and he brought in this German band that was his backing band, and they're still kind of doing it because Chris Logue seems to have fucked off and disappeared somewhere. So let's get into this Master of the Skies album, dude. 1985, Important Records, James Sutton and a guy named Knutson, who's also the cop on the cover, were the two guys that produced it, and it was recorded at Sutton Place in 1984 out in L.A. You want to show us that and talk about Savage Grace, Master of the Skies, Dennis?
There it is.
There it is in all its savage glory. Look at that thing.
Hell yeah.
Talk about misogyny at its finest.
Yep. That does have kind of that 80s collage in it.
Oh, look at that.
On the back.
Oh, nice.
What was this on? Metal Blade? No. This is, what record label is this? Is it just Important? Yeah.
Yeah, Important Records, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So this one I actually got after I think I got the EP back when I was a kid, actually. So this was the second time I bought that record. I mean, not the second time, but the second time I've heard of the band. And definitely a lot different than the EP. We're going to talk about the EP after, or?
Well, if you want to talk about the EP now, go for it.
Well, I have the EP right here.
Oh, okay, go for it then. Let's talk about it, yeah.
So Dominatrix.
Yeah, that came out in 1983, and Kenny Powell was on that, yes.
Yeah, he's lead guitar on this one.
Yep, and John Burke is the vocalist on this one.
Yeah, and he's the one with the spiky hair in the middle.
The spiky hairdo, yeah.
And so the EP definitely sounds a lot different than the full length. Not super different, but the production, just the songs, "Fight for Your Life," definitely has. I think the EP has more of a dirty, sleazy feel to it than the full length. But yeah, the first song's a ripping speed metal song. And it's super high-pitched wailing vocals.
Yeah, man, he gets up there, that dude. Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah. Whoa. It's not always good, but he's definitely...
Exactly. He has pitch control. There's a little bit of pitch control and issues in there. Unlike the second guy's much better, the Mike Smith guy. Yeah.
But this guy's he makes up for it in his enthusiasm.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that song is a banger. Then Curse the Night, kind of a mid-pace banger. I put kind of power metal on the Sunset Strip, I guess. Dominatrix, pure US metal attack. Live to Burn, kind of slightly generic, but still a cool song. Too Young to Die, kind of reminds me of a early Twisted Sister song, but rawer. And that one definitely has an Omen feel to it. That one reminds me of Omen, which makes sense, obviously. But yeah, the EP just, like I said, what it doesn't have in technicality makes up for it in the aggression and enthusiasm the guys have. They're just I mean, and I think that actually rolls into the second record, honestly.
Sure. Yeah.
Definitely a band that you could tell they were just out there, we're just going to make a fucking record and we're going to, put out what we can. I mean, and amazingly, these guys got they got records out in the store, which is cool because even with their album covers, you would think like,
man, you wouldn't get them out now.
No.
Yeah.
And these band was like unknown. So I don't know if they knew somebody or, they just were that popular in the LA scene. Obviously, I wasn't there, so I have no idea. But
well, I mean, we got to keep one thing in context. This is 1985. Well, actually, 82, 83, 85. What's coming up then? Well, that's Too Fast for Love. That's the Rat EP. That's probably Keel was, one of those bands that was around at that point in time. At 84 was when their album came out. And so there was, a ton of that hair metal, Rock's Regime for Striper. There's probably a million bands I can't even think of off the top of my head. Just because there's so many of the glam scene, Poison, all that stuff. These guys were very different from that for the most part. I mean, you hear a little bit of punk and some fastness in the first Motley Crue album, and then they kind of go for the whole, in 83 they go for the whole shout at the devil evil thing, and but it's a lot more streamlined pop sort of songs on that album, really. And then you got Rat, who always kind of had their own sort of vibe, but they still were aiming for the radio. This stuff here was not really that radio friendly, I don't think. It was just so fast. It was way faster than those other.
Yeah, and it might have just got lumped in with those bands at the time. Like they just saw.
They're in LA too. They're in
LA. And they were just probably playing at the same clubs and stuff. And record labels were just trying to pick up stuff to like put out. And they're like, oh, it's just another one of the. They didn't know the difference between what bands did what. So
a lot of times they didn't. They just wanted to sign all those bands to really small. When I talked to Mark Knight at Bang Tango, if I'm wrong here, I'd have to go listen to my own interview, but I swear he told me that initially they only got, like 10 grand or something like that to do that first album. I could be wrong on that, but I can't imagine this band getting much more than that at all, Because Important Records, I know that label, but who else is on it that you can name? I can't really name anybody.
No, and it was usually like Important was more of a distributor where
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, and they weren't like a label. That's why I was like, "What's this on Metal Blade or what is this?" Because it doesn't. I've never seen
the EP is on Metal Blade, right? The Dominatrix.
I thought so. Yeah, that's why I thought the full length was on Metal Blade. Yeah, the EP is on Metal Blade.
Let's see what this says here, because I didn't actually look that up. It says they're still around. I wonder if it's the same one. American independent record label based in Groveland, Massachusetts. It says founded in 2001. Not the same one, clearly. That's what it's called, though, right? Important?
Yeah, but it's like import, like it's an import.
Oh.
Ant or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, is there a dash in there or something?
Well, the way that it's written is import is like the big thing, and then there's no dash, but that's why I said it just. And even here it says marketed by Important Records.
Oh, weird.
But so I don't know. Was it self-released? I have no idea.
I'm wondering if it was, and I don't see anything in their history that said that. It might. I know the demos were self-released, and then, like I said, the Dominatrix one came out on Metal Blade because they pulled that one track for the Metal Massacre.
Yeah,
that's a confusing thing. I don't know. I don't really know what the. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it was a good one. But yeah, I don't know. That's very unclear, and we're not resolving it tonight, obviously. But if anyone has any information on that, maybe not that album did not come out on Metal Blade. That first album did not come out on Metal Blade, dude. High Low, is that who it was? High Low Records? I mean, I'm interested because even it doesn't really even talk about it on anywhere really.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
I'm wondering if
maybe they re-released it on Metal Blade. I have no idea.
well, yeah, it
Because
could
if you
be.
look at this one, it's just a is that the
There you
right?
go. High-low.
Just a red label and says important on it. It doesn't say high-low anywhere, but
Yeah. Oh, you said hello, not high-low. Okay. There is a high-low record label, but it's the 50s and New York City based.
high-low.
I don't think that, and it's obsolete now, so I don't think that's really it. So you got me there, Gotta Grind. How you doing? Chris, thanks again for it was a great stream, man. I really enjoyed myself a lot. And I think they're going to be talking to you one of these days soon, so stay tuned. And they're trying to get Dennis on, but he works these weird fucking hours, so we have to do shit at Sunday night at 11 o'clock. All right, so let's talk about that album. For the EP, I just glanced through it and kind of, the tracks sound pretty consistent to what ended up on the album, except a little less produced. And the other thing is that guy's vocal, like you said, he gets into the histrionics more than the guy that's on the first album. And the guy on the first album does a lot of histrionics, so that's saying something. But he, as I said here, Fight for Your Life sounds a lot like Smith, except maybe a little more histrionic. The way he phrases some words is kind of funny, and his piercing screams are pretty up there. That was pretty much, demos for the first album, very maiden-y, not much different than the album versions to my ears. So, so let's dig into Master of Disguise. You want to give a rundown on that one?
Yeah. All right. Back to Master of Disguise.
And again, the guy on the front there, they call him Knutson, Kunson. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the band that, like you were talking about, the German band,
right?
They actually have, I think the record's called Knutsen's Revenge or something like that.
Great.
So this one, again, not super different than the EP, but with the different vocalists, and the songs I think are more consistent. They're not all over the place, whereas like some of the songs on the Dominatrix were more trying to sound more like I think it, like I said, there was somebody, I think each band member wrote a song. I read somewhere that they each like wrote their own song, which
there was two that were written by the bass player on that album, and then on the other one, you're talking about on the EP.
Yeah, the EP.
Yeah, okay, that might be true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, this one starts out with Lion's Roar, which kind of is more of an
instrumental.
Into Bound to Be Free. It's kind of like a segue into it. And then I would listen to these on I don't remember what thing, like Spotify or something. So some of the songs might be out of order. They weren't. Okay. I've done that too. Like even the Crimson Glory, there's three different orders of that record.
Missing tracks. I noticed that too. You had to go hunt tracks down. Yeah.
Yeah. So Fear My Way goes into kind of some early Maiden riff fest. Just a killer track, man.
That's the best track on there, I think.
Yeah. Betrayer, more mid pace, kind of reminds me of Judas Priest, like more like British Steel type of Judas Priest. Kind of has a Queensryche type chorus. Sons of Inequity, it's a speed metal classic. I love that one. Definitely has some.
That's a bass player's track there.
Yeah, new wave of British heavy metal sounds to it. Sins of the Damned, fucking just a soaring metal, fucking ripper, man. Sick chorus on that one. Into the Fire, that one's another kind of Maiden-esque banger.
Into the Fire. Oh,
wrong band.
Sorry, wrong band, man.
Master of Disguise. I think that might be my favorite song on here. Another ripping speed metal song. Kind of has an Agent Steel feel to it. Now, I was going to kind of bring up Agent Steel and Abattoir and those kind of bands from LA too, because they all seem to like have this kind of sound that they have generated. Whereas like you have the Bay Area thrash scene, and then you have this LA scene. And I'll get to that in a minute, you have Dark Angel in there as well.
Right.
But you have all these bands that are they have their own thing back in Los Angeles as far as like these speed metal bands. And I guess you could say, and then Slayer were kind of part of that as well. but they were a little bit different, obviously. Master of Disguise, like I said, probably my favorite track on there. And then No One Left to Blame, fast tempo banger, full of energy and passion. And that kind of goes for the whole record. It's just so full of energy and just fucking just almost
kind of,
adolescent.
Kind of relentless.
Relentless. Like
it's pretty much four to the floor, man. Put the pedal down and go.
Yeah,
you know?
there was no super attention to songwriting. Not to say the songs are bad, but it was more just like we're gonna just blast through every fucking song and just make a super fast, ripping new wave of British heavy metal album. But we're gonna add like all our whatever we're listening to, like stuff on the Sunset Strip and stuff like that. Just adding in that kind of element to it, that kind of sleaze factor, I guess, which kind of shows the record cover as well. And you'll see further record covers as well. But yeah, man, just a great fucking album. Definitely not a lot of people like you show this album, people are like, oh yeah, I remember that band, but they didn't get a lot of praise. Like, and that was, I guess, the thing for those bands back then too, because they just never got the recognition. I mean, until Dark Angel really got that recognition. Those bands like Agent Steel and those Abattoir and those bands that kind of they didn't really get too much recognition except in the underground. And and I'm sure Savage Grace did, but I mean, even as a kid, I don't remember anybody really talking about them. Or like,
I remember seeing that album cover in Kerrang and thinking, oh, what the fuck is this? Like,
right?
What is this, man? And then, of course, it's got a basically naked chick on it, and I'm a dude, and I'm like going, okay, I can groove to this. What is this? And I don't remember ever checking them out back in the day. But they were, because I was at that time, 85. I'm a year out of school. I'm in my first year of college. I remember Grim Reaper being big. I remember Somewhere in Time being big right around then. That was 86 probably.
Yeah.
Turbo, Priest. When did Hell Await come out?
85.
So Hell Awaits. And I'm listening to all that shit. And I'm not going to lie. I even bought the first fucking Poison album, man. What the Cat Drag did. I was listening to all that stuff.
Yeah.
Bon Jovi, Fahrenheit 7800 or whatever. So I was listening to all that. And I was checking out Bathory and shit too. God damn it.
Yeah. I mean, and we've talked about this before. Back then it was you're always like, you already were listening to Dio and all those bands. So when like Slayer and Exodus and those bands came out, they just got like mixed in. It wasn't like, nah, man, I only listen to Exodus and Slayer now.
It's like, I know you grew up in that scene out there in the San Francisco scene, but damn well. And these guys even talk about it. Guys like Cavastani and Mark Asagata and, fucking Gary Holt and, all those guys, Craig and all those guys, they all talk about how they fucking loved Rat. And they love, but they had to keep it on the D-low because because Bailoff might come and beat them up. But I mean, the specter of Bailoff, no disrespect, Paul. But you know what I mean? Like, even Bailoff probably fucking liked some Rat. Let's be honest.
I'm sure he did. I mean, you got to think, but Rat it wasn't a stigma thing to be that band. No. Like when Rat came out, especially with that EP, that shit ripped, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
They didn't.
Even Crew's first two albums are pretty damn good.
Oh, I love those records. I like Theater of Pain,
once
too.
They did the fucking Theater of Pain thing and the Home Sweet Home thing came out. I was like, come on, man. I even like some Dr. Feelgood. There's some good tracks on Dr. Feelgood. I don't love it, but I and I unabashedly will tell you I like some Stryper fucking albums. I like that for Soldiers Under Command has some ripping fucking guitar on it, man.
Yeah.
Ripping guitar. Tell with the Devil. Come on, man. That song fucking rules, man. But anyway, we're getting way off track. These guys are very different from most of what was going on the LA Strip, though. They just didn't. They sounded more European.
Yep.
They had a little bit more of that, speed metal thing. Maybe they were listening to Destruction and maybe a little bit of Sodom that get them moving. Because the one thing I will say about this album is, man, the drummer's killer, right? But he is just he's doing pretty much the same pattern the whole album.
Yeah.
It's 4-on-the-4 fucking speed riffs, man, on the drums, and the bass is fucking busy. The guitar's pretty busy. There are bits and pieces of Maiden in there. I kind of hear them. I don't hear them like overtly, but to be honest with you, the first album has that. I'll go through my stuff. Born to Be Free, Lion's Roar, very bass and drum heavy instrumental that comes in the enters the album. Born to Be Free, during really powerful vocals, solid riffs, solid chords, very early Maidenish vibe, only faster tempos. Great drumming, overwhelming drumming sound in the mix. The drums are high in the mix on this album for me. And it could be something I was listening to on YouTube, which is a bad way to listen to these albums because I don't own these.
Yeah.
And so I'm going by what I can get a hold of. And, man, the drums were just beating my ears up. But it's still pretty good. Fear My Way, very Maiden riffy opening, very cool track. Over-the-top melodic, well-pitched screams with power. That's the thing. This guy has power in his voice. Sins of the Damned, heavy up-tempo track, lots of riffs, solid vocals. The tagline into the to die for the sins of the damned, that part where he goes, to die for the sins of the damned. Good track, some screams, some great screams in that one. Into the Fire, great Dawkins song. Just kidding. This Dawkins was first. That was 84. Super slamming tempos and great twin Maiden guitar lines. They just aren't as memorable as Maiden. That's the problem. They just aren't. Yeah. These guitar lines aren't as memorable as Maiden for me.
Yep.
Master of Disguise, the vocals are a little over the top on this one. Things started to sound a little samey by this time, but I said the other track was my favorite. My favorite is Betrayer. That song's killer. Betrayer!
Yeah.
Betrayer!
Yeah.
My favorite song. The whole thing's mean, heavy, dirty, and the chorus simple but memorable. The jam parts are very Viking? Very Viking? No. I don't know what that word is, but it misinterpreted my word. Probably very heavy. Sons of Iniquity, lots of riffs, vocal ideas, but that one I don't quite like as much as you. It's kind of sounds like a bit of a mess to me. No One Left to Blame, a solid jam. I like this way better than I expected to, Dennis. I saw that cover. I'm like, I've heard of this band. I've heard of this band. I know this band somewhere. Might have been Devin that sent me something. Said, did you ever know this? I'm like, dude, yeah, I've seen that album cover, but I don't think I want to listen to that. It's probably trash. No, man, it's pretty fucking solid speed. I'm like, I didn't listen to it. And I did not know any of the sounds on this album. I'm just being straight up with you. That's why it's cool that we choose some of these things because you don't know some of my stuff, Badlands, and But yeah, I'm gonna give this. The only thing I don't like is the drums are too high in the mix and they're tinny, which a lot of the drums from that era are. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Is that fair?
Yeah, sounds good.
What are you giving?
So to me, like you said, I don't think the songs are very. They all kind of run together to me.
Exactly.
But that being said, they run together because they all sound that they all want to sound like a speed metal riff fest. So I like the album. Like I said, it's not the songs aren't super memorable. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 for me.
That's fair.
And the production is pretty bad.
It's not the greatest production.
No.
I'm going to bump mine up to a 7.5 because I agree with what you say in that there's a linearness to the songs. They all kind of work in their own little way, and they pummel you pretty good, but they're short, generally speaking. They're not super short. They're in that 4-minute range. There might be one or two that are 5, and they just kind of work as a group of songs, but none of them, with the exception of Betrayer and Born to Be Free, Fear My Way a little bit too. Those three are the ones that I'm like, oh, I can remember that line in my head after I listen to it.
Yeah.
And that, that's the thing of a really good, like, for example, we're going to get into an album towards the end here that every fucking song is so goddamn memorable to me right off the bat. I can sing every one. I'm probably not going to because my voice is kind of fucked from Friday night, but we'll see. I might go there. And it might be very embarrassing. I'm just letting you know.
That was what, the second Keel record? Sweet.
No, it's not going to be the second record. No. And I'll tell you, he's a screamer. We'll get into that. But yeah, so I'm going to give a 7.5. Do we want to jump on to 1986's What's it called there? After the Fall from Grace.
Yeah.
And this was recorded at Wayne Coil Studios, LA. Shit, I had the. Oh yeah, the CD.
Yeah, and this has both the EP on it too. So, but so this one, so see the guy on the cover with the axe, the executioner.
That's Gene Hoglan.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. There's a Dark Angel reference to it. Yeah, Hoglan has the executioner. So, you know, like these bands were all kind of sticking together back then at the time.
Yeah.
So for me, this album, what the previous album didn't have, this one does have, and that's more memorable songs. So
and better production.
Way better production. Songwriting's a lot better. They weren't just going for speed on like every track. And there's actual, I don't want to say, I think the other one they did have chords on them, but you can't, they're so like buried in the mix.
Yeah, you're right. It was very buried. You couldn't hear a lot of articulation in the song.
You could hear a lot of like the guitar, like the, like the finger tapping parts, like nah, 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 nah. But then you could hear there's chords in the back too, but you can't really hear them. On this one, it's more structured, and then it just definitely
better mix. It's a better mix overall.
Way better mix.
And the drums are better mixed. The drums aren't overpowering shit like they were in the first.
And then the singer again, man, just great.
Singer now. That singer's the guitar player now, right?
Yeah.
Chris Logue. He's kind of the main guy that started the band. He's I'll talk about his singing after you get done.
All right. Call to Arms. Again, these might be out of order, so I base this on I think the Spotify playlist, so it might be out of order. Fist Pounder kind of has like a Queensryche type of intro to We Came, We Saw, We Conquered, which is actually in the Call to Arms. He's actually saying that. And I wrote down, this sounds like a speed metal Dawkins. After the Fall from Grace, just a fucking killer fucking song, dude. Really good, structured banger. Love that song. Trial by Fire, Not the Testament song. Almost a fucking thrasher, dude. Very close to thrash metal. I wrote on here Dark Angel mixed with power metal, killer track. Then it goes into another kind of Middle Eastern intro with Palestinia into Age of Innocence. Classic U.S. heavy power metal, powerful, and chorus rules on that one. Flesh and Blood, fast, heavy metal. What did I write here? Oh, it has a metal church kind of feel to it, but a tad more melodic. Destination Unknown, fast ripping with killer lead work and drumming. And then Tales of Mystery, badass, emotive track, heavy, melodic. I put this almost sounds almost like they had Queensryche as an inspiration for this last one, but yeah. And you'll hear me say Queensryche a lot on a lot of these records. And it's not to say that the band is a replica of Queensryche. I'm just using that as a reference to like that people know. Right. Like I use Iron Maiden or I use Dark Angel. It's just those type of bands. And it's early Dark Angel I'm talking about too. It's not like Darkness Descends. It would be We Have Arrived Dark Angel. Or even if you listen to the demo by Dark Angel, it sounds a lot more like this. Very much speed metal, heavy metal stuff on the Dark Angel demo. So there's definitely a connection there with these bands, and you could hear the sound. So when I say Dark Angel, that would be We Have Arrived or the demo. I don't remember the name of the demo. I think it's Hell's on Its Knees, but I could be wrong.
Hang on. It is. So there's a 1982 demo, which I believe that was the one that I thought Kelly Rhodes was on, but it's not. It's that other dude. And then there's another 82 demo. Then there's Dominatrix EP. There's an 84 demo. And Ride Into the Night is the 87 demo that comes out after this. And then they're on Metal Massacre compilation.
Yeah.
Trying to find some data on, because I didn't. See, I see other stuff in here. Metal Blade, Semaphore, and Limb Music. Limb, limb. I don't even see important on here, which is very bizarre.
Yeah.
So it's kind of strange how I'm trying to find. Oh, there it is. There it is. Metal Archives. All right. So yeah. So you had Ride Into the Night was an EP. Then you had the Promo 91. The Lost Grace is an EP from 2010. And then this New York Days compilation. And the other thing is this band. I mean, people can do this themselves. Scepters of Deceit was the song from the demo that was on the Metal Massacre comp. But they used this band. What was it, man? Live members formed Masters of Disguise, named after Savage Grace's album.
Yeah.
Trying to find the fucking. Yeah, very confusing sort of kind of thing with them. Frederick keeps saying that they're together and there's a band, but I'm telling you, there's not a band with any original members in it. I think it's a German backup band to Chris Logue, and Chris Logue did do some work with them and did some shows in like 09, 10 maybe a little bit later into 12. Did a couple of like, I think he might have done Keep It True or one of those, really power metal festivals that they do, maybe Dynamo. But the thing is that he kind of disappeared. And I did a lot of searching for him last night, and I found a very strange website about Chris Logue. If you look it up, you'll see it out there. And to be very honest with you, I was kind of scared to reach out. I was like, I don't know if I want to reach out. I was like, I'm not sure. And there is a Savage Grace Facebook page, which I did link. It's got 4,400 followers. But the way this looks, man. Well, here you go. The cover of a new Savage Grace coming out. Here you go, February 24th. If you're a collector, I strongly suggest you. Well, there you go, guys. Look at this. There's apparently, I'm sure Frederick already knew this shit. So this is apparently a new Savage Grace album.
Yeah, I think they're called Savage Grace LA now, but
Let's see. Savage Grace. Sons of the Cross? Sins of the Cross. Sign of the Cross. Sorry, Sign of the Cross. Coming out on Massacre Records. But here's the thing. They're only doing 1,000 of these things. And I would imagine that you could probably still get them. But they're saying they'll be $200.
What?
But what I'm getting, they'll be $200 on... See, here's a guy. When will the pre-orders actually start? Massacre has soon coming, but no order info. So it sounds kind of sketch. Just saying, it sounds kind of sketch. And the way I look at this, I do not think that the original guitar player is involved at all. Chris Logue, and it was his band, so it's kind of like, let me look here a sec. Doesn't really say, but like I said, the last thing I heard, I just don't see this Chris Logue anywhere. So unless they bought the rights to the band, or maybe they're, like you said, maybe they're calling themselves something else. I mean, here's 1986. This is a photo of Chris Logue, and he is on here. He's the dark-haired dude there. And I think the blonde-haired dude that's 86. So it was probably that Mike Smith guy, I believe, singing. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tricky to figure out what the hell's going on with these guys. It just doesn't. I do not see the original guy in the band in any of these pictures. Maybe Frederick can figure that out while we're dicking around here. Yeah, so I don't know. Kiko Shred is a new guitarist. There you go, Kiko Shred. That makes sense. Of course, it's Kiko Shred. All right. So for me on this second, did you ran your tracks down or not yet?
Yeah,
you did, right? Oh, you did. Okay. So Chris Logue takes over vocals and a rhythm guitarist is used in the studio, unlike on the first album where Chris did all the guitars. It's not Kenny Powell though on this album.
No.
Call to Arms instrumental intro again. They have a formula. We came, we saw, we came, we saw, we conquered. Sort of lame. I'm sorry. I hate those shouted vocal things, man. The vocals are surprisingly okay, except not as dynamic or histrionic as Mike Smith. They're not as crazy. He tries to hit highs, and they're not quite there like the other guy. Chanty shouted background vocals are tough for me. I'm sure fucking Frederick loves that shit, though. I'd bet my life on it. After the fall from grace, vocals are uneven on this one pretty noticeably, like he's singing outside his range often. Trial by fire, slow start, but a rager otherwise. After that start, it's more menacing. Vocals are pretty slamming, super fast. When he reached for that high fire, he's really pushing it. You can hear that when he goes for that high fire thing there. Let's see where I'm at here. Palestinia. Weird, distorted spoken intro, trying to sound super mysterious, but then the riffs kick in and it's off to the races. The hooks aren't there for this one, and his voice isn't great on this track. I'm not crazy about that one. Age of Innocence, catchy chorus, but again, his voice seems flat. Flesh and Blood. Dirty. Oh, Christ, I hate when I don't fix things right away. Dirts sound samey. I'm thinking that was probably riffs sound samey to the last few tracks. The shouted vocals are the cheesy kind I don't like very much. The high scream to our end is weak as it's outside his range. Good riffs and solid song, but it's just kind of not there dynamically for me. Destination Unknown, Builder Burner, a cool intro, harmonized guitars. The trouble is this guy's singing the. Here's my trouble. Here's my issue with the whole album, Dennis. He sings okay. It's passable, right? He tries to reach here and there where he probably shouldn't reach because he just doesn't have that. What I found, though, is that, and if you listen to this album again with this in mind, see if you agree with me down the road. He sort of seems to follow the same pattern with his vocals. They all follow like a linear sort of melody. It's like he's got that one melody in his head for every song, and they all kind of revolve around that same way of delivery. And that was the thing I didn't particularly. I think the production's way better. I think the guitars are way more dynamic. The drums sound better on this. But I think his vocals, while passable, are just kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
They're just flat. And maybe that's just me, and I'll have to listen to it again. You know, I probably will. I gave the last one a 6.5. Oh, Tales of Mystery, though, is actually a good one. That's probably the most dynamic track. Notable hook line in the chorus. That's the one that reminded me of Queensryche too. You're right. Fate's Warning a little bit too. Not super proggy, a lot faster. The music seems better recorded and mixed, but the vocals, which are solid, just are not that dynamic, as dynamic as the first album. I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. If the vocal melodies had been a little more dynamic and different in each song, I think it would have ranked higher. As production's way better, and I think the songs are better. So then we have the what'd you give that one? You were
I get that one gets a 9 out of 10 for me.
Oh man,
I really like that record. I think
you're pissed at me, aren't you?
I mean, I get it. I get the vocals, but that doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you. So I'm not a vocal guy, so I don't.
That's the problem with me. I lock in on the fucking vocals every time, and if there's something a little weird or off, I just am like, oh, I can't. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Like, I used to love James LaBrie. I can't stand listening to him anymore now. It's like I used to love him, but I'm just not into him anymore. So, We Ride the Night. Yeah, that one?
The EP? That was that's on the back of this CD.
Okay, the 87 one. So we got Riding the Night, very similar to the Grace album song. Solid musically, but the vocals, while solid, aren't anything special. The shouted bits kind of get to me. We March On. Good solos on that song. Very similar to everything else they've done. The Healing Hand. I like the Healing Hand. It's moodier track. A little more 80s metal sounding. Again, the vocals are one-dimensional and samey for me. And then they do a cover of Deep Purple's Burn, right?
Yeah.
And that really kills me because that guy cannot sing that song. He's not.
I didn't even talk about the cover songs on any of these records. If there's a cover song, I just skipped it.
Yeah, he ain't Coverdale, man. He is not Coverdale. But see, now I don't know if you watched the Nevermore thing that we did on Marty's channel on Friday night. But
I watched a little bit of it, but I had to work, so I couldn't.
Well, we talked about the fact that Nevermore always chose really interesting cover songs, and they
Yeah.
always fucked them up. They never were exactly right,
Always fucked them up.
except for White Rabbit. That one's kind of played by. But like you listen to Double Dare or Silent Hedges from Bauhaus, it's
Yeah.
so wickedly heavy and cool. Doesn't sound anything like Sound of Silence. Doesn't even sound like that song at all.
Yeah, I got to hear that one. I've been wanting to hear it ever
It doesn't
since you
even
started
sound
talking
anything
about
like the song. You'll never know it. If you didn't know it, you'd never know it. I didn't know it for a year. I had the CD for a year, and I'm finally like, wait a minute, that's Simon and Garfunkel? What the fuck? And then they did Crystal Ship on the Godless Endeavor, and that's killer, the Doors track. So, all right, go ahead. Give me your take on. You have it? Oh, you said it's on the back of the CD.
Yeah, so it's right there's the cover. The cover rules. So
no more misogyny for those guys.
Right?
Be subservient to me, bitches.
It's just like, look at the fog in the back. It's just all right, here's my idea.
Pretty bad.
Get your girlfriends over here. We're going to do this cover.
We're doing this cover, man. Make sure.
And I'll tell you, right?
Make sure they get their boobs out.
That's 87, dude. I'll tell you what. I lived in LA in 80. I want to say 89.
Right.
I was going to school there, and these girls would do that. I mean, they probably just wanted a Coke or something.
No, they wanted Coke. They wanted Coke, but not a Coke.
Yeah, but you didn't have Coke. You just said you had Coke, and then you gave them Pepsi.
Exactly.
So, anyways.
Well, that was the rise of the porn industry too, man.
Yeah.
The 80s, the mid 80s. That's when the porn industry blew up out there.
I mean, but then again, it wasn't like it was too like, hey, I'm just gonna like go and do crazy shit because that's what I'm doing right now. So
yeah, well,
Right Into the Night, 87. I like this EP a lot. The first song, Right Into the Night. So on this record, I think they totally toned it down as far as, especially from the first record. And it's kind of a progression from the second record, but this one you can tell they're trying to get possibly a little bit more commercial, but it's weird with that album cover, how they thought they would be considered like that, unless they were going to be like a band that was like out of the box at the time or something.
Right.
So Right Into the Night, it's a fist banger, gang vocals, speed, power, killer song. We March On, kind of an acoustic intro with some nasty riffs, and I put Reichish tone, headbanger. The Healing Hand, melodic banger with some crunchy riffage. I think this is the first time I heard him kind of have that a little bit of crunchy riffs in there as far as like palm muted riffs.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, I like it. I don't like it as much as the last two releases, but I could see where they were going or where they were trying to go from here. I give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give that a 6 out of 10.
Right.
Just the burn cover kind of fucking ruined it for me at the end there.
I'm not even counting that as anything.
Yeah, well, if it's there, I'm gonna listen to it, and I wish I hadn't. There's just there's some bands that are fucking amazing at doing covers, and usually they're cover bands. They can't write their own songs. They do other people's songs, fantastic, but they can't write their own songs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's a good thing, but man, there's just some bands that try to cover songs, and you're like, oh, just don't, man, don't do it.
Yeah,
it's terrible. So I think that's pretty much it then for Savage Grace.
That's it for Savage Grace.
I think because we're not going into the 2010 thing and the non-real band album that they put out, which I don't even know. It's like it sounds like all drinking songs or something. Which would be German, right? That would be a very German thing to do. Yeah,
and that Savage Grace, that what are they called? Masters of Disguise. That's a good record too. That's a good speed metal record. From what I remember, I haven't listened to it in years, but I remember when it came out, I had listened to it and I thought it was a good record. I might even have it somewhere. I just don't recall. But
I got to read some of these titles. They're just too fucking funny. So the last thing they did, this New York Days compilation thing, right, is from 2021. So here's the names of the songs. All Tanked Up, Bare Bottom Blues, Crazy Saturday Night, If You're Buying, We're Drinking, Love Expediter, Club Expediter. Mad fool for you. Mainline lover. Such a dirty mind. You say goodbye. You're not the girl I used to know. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, Frederick. If you're buying this shit, more power to you. That's all I gotta say. That is never going to be in my collection. The Lost Grace thing was, what is this? Into the fire, no one left to blame. Die by the blade, betrayers. So that looks like those are other. Oh, it was a limited edition 7-inch. Do you have that? Nuclear War Now?
No.
That came out in 2010.
That's a demo, right?
No, it's a 7-inch, 100 copies.
Oh, because I think Nuclear War Now put out their demo or something.
They probably did. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They did. They did. Yep,
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So we're moving on from Savage Grace, and we're gonna move into another of my favorite bands. No, I'm just kidding. I like the Savage Grace. This next one, I'm not gonna be so kind, bro. I'm sorry. I'm just not. But we'll talk about them. So we got Keel, which was the band that was formed by Ron Keel, ex-Steeler, and all you metal guitar fanatics out there should know who Steeler is because that's where Yngwie came from. Yngwie Malmsteen came from him, formed in 1984, best known for the rock anthem The Right to Rock. Active until 1989. They had a brief reunion in 98, and they do occasionally tour. 2008, 2009 they did, and they have not released any new material since 2010 that I'm aware of. It is still Ron Keel, Mark Ferrari, and Brian J. They're still in the three guys that are still in the band. They've had guys like Steve Riley's been in the band. David Michael Phillips. Do you remember who that is?
The guy from Miami Vice?
yeah, Tubbs, exactly.
Oh, wait, that's Philip Michael Thomas.
Philip Michael Thomas, yeah. No, David Michael Phillips is the dude that was originally in Flotsam and Jetsam, and then he went out like very early. Like, I don't think he's even on their first album. He might be on their demos. Then he went out to L.A. and he joined Keel initially. Okay, he was from Phoenix. He joined Keel, but he ended up in King Cobra. Remember King Cobra? Which we're going to talk about them. We need to add them to the list.
We do.
Yeah, especially that first album.
That
second
first
album sucks.
Rules,
second album sucks balls.
Yeah, but the first album rules.
Oh, it does. Yeah, so David Michael Phillips was in the band. Kenny Chason was the main bass player for them for a long time. I think Scott Warren was the drummer. And basically, so they I'm sorry. No, he was not in Flotsam and Jetsam. Duh. He was an Icon. David Michael Phillips was in Icon. He was the original guitar player for Icon.
Oh,
if I could get Dan Wexler on to talk to me or Stephen Clifford, I'm working on that, guys. So anyways, this lineup did the first album, 1984's Lay Down the Law. Marks left and was replaced by Stephen Riley on drums, who subsequently left early to join Wasp. There you go. And I think
wasn't there a guy in fucking King Cobra that was in Wasp too?
Yeah, Johnny Rod.
Yeah.
The bass player ended up joining Wasp later. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of incestuous shit going on with dudes, right? You know, they were all fucking each other's girlfriends, I'm sure. Let's be honest, you know. All right, man. What say you about the first Keel album, which I will blow you up and I will give some quick facts on that first album.
Look at that cover.
That cover. Man, we have a theme tonight. Now I know why. Now I know why Phil, Chromium Dioxide, said a pervert show tonight.
This is on what? Shrapnel Records. OG Press.
Oh, that's OG there. Nice.
All these are OG Press. All the Savage Grace, everything.
Why would I even ask anything other than that of you?
Except for the CD. That's some weird fucking German press from like 2015 or something.
All right, so this comes out in November of 84. Recorded at Prairie Sun Recording Studios in California. Shrapnel, it's on Shrapnel, as you said.
And I think, wasn't the Steeler on Shrapnel too?
Yes, they were. Yep. They absolutely were. Yep. Mike Varney.
Almost pulled the Steeler, but
Mike Varney. Yeah, I guess we could have done that, huh?
Yeah.
Produced by Ron Keel and Mike Varney. Mike Varney obviously was Shrapnel. And so, it came out and let me look here. despite the band signing the old Mountain Records a few months prior, the album was released by Shrapnel. That's weird. I don't know what that means. It was not released on a CD until 2008. How about that shit? Yeah. All right, man. So let her rip on Keel's first album, Lay Down the Law.
So I'll tell you right now, this is my favorite Keel record.
Okay.
So I don't know if that means it's all going to go downhill from here, but I really like this record. This was kind of a blind buy for me. I mean, I was a fucking 13-year-old kid, so that cover automatically purchased.
Boom. Titties,
right.
I'm in. Titties, I'm in.
Yep. And I think I might have bought the Steeler at the same time, but I had no idea there was a connection.
Right.
And I think like being a kid, like there was like bands that had like certain members in them, and I had no idea they were the same members.
Yeah.
It's even singers. Like I had no idea Dio was in Black Sabbath or.
Oh shit! Really?
No, dude. And I had the record, and I'm like, Dio's in Black Sabbath? I don't understand how this works. But I didn't know. Like, I just didn't know. Like, there were so many bands coming out. And like Black Sabbath was an older band. So hearing them, and then all of a sudden Dio's in the band, and I haven't even digested stuff from Ozzy yet. And I'm like, huh? Like, it's confusing because back then it was just like Dio had his own band. I never knew that he was in other bands like Rainbow before that.
Yep.
So,
and
anyways,
yeah,
I might have had the Steeler before this. I'm not positive. But anyways, I'll get into this record. Thunder and Lightning, just a hard rocking killer riffs, and sounds a lot like Icon.
It does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And that's why I'm very confused by this band. I'll tell you why when I get to my review.
Lay Down the Law, another kind of almost like a Rat track, but heavier, sleazier. It's kind of a ripper. Love that song. Speed Demon, fucking almost a speed metal song. Killer song. Princess of Illusion, not a favorite of mine. Kind of a sappy, boring ballad. Born Ready, Ready to Rock anthem. Kind of reminds me of Quiet Riot. And his vocals, like they sound like Icon, sound like Kevin Dubrow because they both have that kind of sound to them.
Yep, and they got a little bit of a Blackie Lawless in there at times.
Yep. Metal Generation. I wrote serious banger with anthem chorus. Hell Freezes Over, cool power ballad. I like that song. You're the Victim. Heavy speed metal, almost a speed metal song. Just a sick track, man. Record overall is for 84 and being a band like this, I thought was like they were pushing the envelope for like what was coming out at that time and what they were like lumped into, like Rat and Motley Crue and those kind of bands. So that's why they kind of always stood out to me, especially this record, because it was different than those records. And it was
definitely different, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a lot heavier and faster and more balls to the wall type of accept reference there. But just more of a banger of a record, more just it was coming from different spots, but it didn't sound like anything I had heard before. So yeah, just a killer record. Definitely one I used to listen to a lot when I was a kid. And then, then the second album comes along and, they kind of change their sound, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. All right.
And I'm giving that a 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. Did you show that one?
What?
Did you show the album or?
No, I was talking about this one.
Oh yeah, you showed. Yeah, you showed it a bunch of times. I blanked there for a sec. Sorry, someone texted me. I'm distracted. My bad. Okay, so now, as I say all the time, and I'm sure everybody's sick of hearing it, but I'm assuming I make it to the end of March. I'm going to be in my 57th year, which is kind of fucking bizarre. When you're in your teens and your 20s, you just never envision being almost 60 years old. You just don't envision it. It's just, it doesn't, because when you're that age and you look at people in their 50s and 60s, they're fucking old, man. They're just really old people. And here I am, looking the way I do, listening to what I listen to, doing the things that I do, and I should have grown up 40 years ago. But it's never going to happen.
Yeah, but it's a different generation, so.
my point is that I'm gonna die being who I am, and that
Yeah.
is a dude that loves metal and loves fucking the scene and loves being in the scene, loves talking about this shit, loves talking to people about it. And you know, the funniest thing is for years and years and years, I had to have very short hair. Like my hair, I'll see if I can. When you're up next, I'm gonna find my license from 4 years ago when I didn't have long hair. I mean, my hair now is, you know, it's down past my boobs, you know. And when I was in professional work, I couldn't really look the way I wanted to look. I just couldn't do it. I had to. So my answer was, well, I don't like my hair sort of half long, and I'm just gonna buzz it all. I had a buzz cut for years, right? Like not buzz to my skull, but very very short.
Yeah.
And now when people see me, they're like, they haven't seen me in a couple years. They're like, holy fuck, what the hell happened to you? Like, why do you look like that?
What are you, homeless?
Huh?
I said, what are you, homeless?
Yeah, when you home, exactly. You look like a bum. It's like, what the fuck? I wash my hair every day or every other day. I take a shower. I smell nice. What the fuck's wrong with you? Oh, I have long hair. I must be irresponsible and stupid. I get it. Okay. But my point is that I was around when all this shit was coming out. 84, I'm a senior in high school, right? And I don't think I remember this album, but the next album, let me just make sure. Yeah, The Right to Rock, I remember. And but it really wasn't honestly probably until the third album, Final Frontier, when I heard Because the Night was the big hit they had off that, which is the Patti Smith song.
Yeah.
So I knew about Keel and I knew about the Steeler connection back in the 80s, you know. And so basically, let's knock this out here. Thunder and Lightning's a really good solid opener, man. That's a banger of a track.
Yep.
A bit shocked at how much Ron sounds like Stephen Clifford from Icon. That's concerning to me because I'm like, I should like this more because I love Stephen Clifford. I love Stephen Clifford, one of my favorite vocalists. But something about Ron's voice was just right away. Okay, lays down the law, hooky, catchy chorus, Speed Demon, heavier, driving, almost like it has a Saxon vibe. I heard Saxon in some of these songs. You know, like fucking Dallas 1 p.m. or Wheels of Steel, or it just has that Wheels of Steel vibey sort of Long Arm of the Law, and you know, Princess of Illusion, first big ballad, one of the better songs. Strangely, I kind of like this one on the album. Ron's voice, which is good, is under control here, but you can hear the reverby S. You can hear that reverb on his voice like crazy. Born Ready, typical barroom, hopeful arena rocker. What else here? Metal Generation, standard 80s fist pumper, good track. Till Hell Freezes Over, acoustic intro that's at least kind of interesting. In fact, probably my second favorite track on here.
Cool
good ballad, although predictable. Your Victim, what's it called? Your Victim.
You're the victim.
You're the victim. I'm the crime.
Yep. No, you're. Fuck. Where is it at?
Yeah, I think it's Your Victim. I'm the crime. You're the victim. I'm the crime.
Yeah.
Kind of clicked, but it has a pretty bruising riff that drives it. But Ron's voice is starting to bug me on this one a lot. The solos are typical LA hair club, meaning the LA club scene, hair metal era air raid siren stuff. And at the end of that track where he does the whoa, that stuff, it's like, oh, okay. Let's Spend the Night Together, cover Stone's song, Closer, not a great way to go, and the vocals are pretty cringy on this. It's not as bad as I recall, but Ron's air raid siren voice never lets up much. I guess that's part of the allure, and quite frankly, a good bit of the distraction for me, as I try to recall back to the 80s and to why I was ambivalent to this guy in the first place. I have a lot of that 80s metal in my collection. I don't own any Keel, and I was like, well, this is weird. Why don't I own any Keel? And I was trying to figure that out as I'm listening to this, and I'm like, a lot of the actual songs are kind of cookie cutter. Lots of great solos, but by Ferrari and Carter. They're solid guitarists, but honestly, you're going to hate me, Dennis. You're going to hate me. What'd you give this again?
I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. That's a good album, man.
I'm going 5 out of 10, bro.
5? Come
5 out
on.
of 10, man. 5 out of 10. It's just not the LA hair metal that I gravitated towards. We'll see if it gets better. I'm
Well,
afraid
yeah.
it might not. I'm afraid it might not, but we'll see. So we're up to Right to Rock, and you've got that one, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. Right to Rock. There it is.
There it is. Let me pull you up. Better cover.
Look at that cover. Oh, I
It's
don't know if it's better, but it's a cool cover.
Well, there aren't any boobs on it, man.
That's why it's not better. But
Yeah, all right. Bummer. All right, so that's the
it does
second
look
hand.
cool.
We got a note. Who's the producer on this?
Who is the producer?
Gene Simmons.
Oh, it is Gene Simmons.
Yeah,
Oh,
they became buddies with Gene.
that's right. I do remember that. I read somewhere that this was like Gene's band, and I don't think so. Like,
Well, it wasn't Gene's band, but he was at that point. What they did with their big artists, those big labels, they started basically giving them vanity projects to say, like Paul Stanley produced his first album in '79. That this one here, actually. Remember we talked about this, and actually we're going to talk about this band soon. But here, this band right here. Remember we talked about them?
oh yeah, that's right.
Don't ever want to lose you. That's Paul Stanley's first production job. Gene, I don't know if this is his first production job. I think it might be, but somehow he got locked into to Ron, and Ron and him became pretty close. And in the end, Gene did this album and the next album he produced, and he wrote some songs, co-wrote some songs too.
All right, so Right to Rock, 1985. So the video, I'm going to tell you, was a huge hit as far as like on Headbangers Ball. I remember that was always on, and I love that because it had the kid with the fucking boombox, and then like the cops are like, turn it down. They like knock it out of his hand. His boombox like gets destroyed, and then like the rest of the video, he's just like, they gotta have the right to rock, right? So yeah, I love that song. I always loved it, even when I first heard the video. If you guys haven't seen the video, check it out. It's an awesome video. I don't know why cops would care about some kid with his boombox, but they did.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Oh, you haven't seen that video?
Well,
oh shit, dude, that thing rules.
Dennis, if I did, it's probably a fuck ton.
You probably saw it.
I'm sure I did. Yeah.
He's just walking around listening to Keel.
I kind of remember that, but that was a trope from the '80s for a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Back to the City, another killer track. Kind of again, it reminds me of Loudness, Icon.
That's my favorite track on
there. Yeah, that's a badass track. Easier said than done. Kind of generic. Has a 80s Kiss sound to it.
That's Gene Simmons' track. That's why he covered 3 Gene Simmons demos. That's one of them.
Yeah, so that's why I said that makes sense. I remember now the Gene Simmons thing, but there is some songs on here that do sound like 80s, or even they would all be 80s Kiss songs. So Many Girls, So Little Time.
That's a Gene Simmons. That's a Gene Simmons song.
Yeah, you can tell. Has some cool riffing, but the chorus is not very good. Electric Love is an okay song, but again, the chorus is lame. Get Down, 80s Kiss again. Sounds like War Machine. Pretty cool jam. He does sound almost sounds like Gene Simmons on this song.
Dude, he does. He sings on it.
Yeah. Does he?
Yep.
Oh, shit.
You nailed all 3 of them without even looking them up. Yep.
Yeah. You're the Victim and Speed Demon Speed Demon was on the first record. I was just looking at the first record, You're the Victim, I'm the Crime. It's not on actually that record. It is on the Spotify, but on my actual original copy, that song's not on. Yeah.
It's supposed to be. Let me look.
Well, it's on the like Spotify and stuff like that, but it's not on the actual record, the real record.
You know what? You're right. It's not on there. You're right. It's not actually. That's right. You're right.
So
how about that? So here's the deal. Here's the deal. I'll read it from
So anyways, my rating on this record is going to be a 7. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Not super impressed by it, but it's still a cool record, and it has the right to rock on it. So,
So the lowdown on this is the second studio album. Is the first to be produced by Kiss's Gene Simmons under their new label, Gold Mountain Records, which was distributed by A&M. When the band started recording the album, drummer Bobby Marks left. He was replaced by different drummers. Fred Curry, who went on to join Cinderella. Barry Brandt, who was in Angel and I think still is. Steve Riley, who's played with Wasp and L.A. I think he's got his own version of L.A. Guns. Has been in L.A. Guns for years. Dwayne Miller eventually became the band's permanent drummer right before the album was released. The band had only written 3 songs when the label sent them to the studio. Therefore, they covered 3 Gene Simmons demos and re-recorded 3 songs from their debut album. Tonight You're Mine was renamed to You're the Victim, I'm the Crime. There you go. It's Tonight You're Mine.
That's
why.
He changed the name.
Yep. And that came out January 28, 1985. Recorded at the Record Plant in L.A. and Media Sound in New York. Gold Mountain Records, A&M, Vertigo in Europe, and King in Japan. Producer was Gene Simmons. Okay, so this one, The Right to Rock. I'll bounce out and get me on there. I don't need to blow my spell. Okay, I'll be vain and put my big fat face up here. The Right to Rock, standard hard rock, metal fare for the era, nothing great, not bad, just kind of there. Sorry, man, it's just how I feel. But Back to the City, good, solid, speedier track. I really like this one, probably my favorite track. Let's Spend the Night Together. Ugh, oh God, please. I don't like anybody doing Stones tunes but Stones. That's it. I'll be honest with you. I just don't. Easier said than done. Written by Gene Simmons. Meh. So many girls, so little time. For real? Question mark, question mark. It's Gene Simmons, so of course it's for real. Electric Love. What did you say about Electric Love?
I said it's an okay song, but the chorus is lame.
You know what? That's exactly what I said. One of the better songs, but the chorus is kind of weak.
Yeah.
Speed Demon. Rehash of song off first. Speedier, chugging speedier, okay track, good solos on that one. Get Down, more of a riffy chugger, but his vocals drive me nuts on this song. You're the Victim, I'm the Crime, ugh. Oh boy, dude. Pushing it, I'm going to give it a 4. Just a combo of dumb songs, lyrics, Ron's constant screaming, basic songwriting. Just doesn't impress me much, bro. I know, I'm sorry, man. We were bound to hit one that I just wasn't impressed, a band I wasn't impressed with. You may feel that way about Badlands. Who knows? I don't know yet. We'll find out.
And the thing with Keel is they're what they are. Like,
exactly.
Nothing like extraordinary. I didn't pick them because I thought like, oh man, this is like one of my favorite bands. I mean, I do really like the first record and I like a lot of Keel songs. It's just I think it's a band that nobody talks about really. So
you're exactly right. And I'm cool with that, dude. That's what I want to keep doing.
Yeah. I want to bring
I you a list of bands and I want to try to do these bands that nobody really talks about. Like we were talking about Canadian bands the other night on the stream, like Killer Dwarves. That's one I want to check out, and Coney Hatch and some of these bands that nobody just talks about. So what did I say here? Oh yeah. So next we're on to
Final Frontier.
Yeah. Final Frontier, yeah. So you want to pull that one up? I'll give a little bit of beef on that one. That came out in 1986, April 30th, 86. Recorded in Electric Lady Studios, Baba O Studios, and Village Recorders in LA. Gold Mountain Records again, MCA USA, Vertigo in Europe. Gene Simmons producer. And they had 2 singles that came out, Tears of Fire and Because the Night Belongs to Lovers. I'm pretty good. I love that song. I really do.
Yeah.
Videos were filmed for the track Because the Night and Tears of Fire. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is when I really suddenly remembered Keel. And I do like that cover. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is when I really became aware because the Tears of Fire video played a lot on Headbangers, and so did the Because the Night.
Did it? I think I put like Tears of Fire should have been a video.
What's that?
I think I put on here Tears of Fire should have been a video.
It was. Yep.
I never saw it, so I never had this record when I was younger. I was already out. I was already into thrash and stuff like that.
Right.
Funny story about this record. I found it I was walking by a record store and they just had a bunch of records outside for free, and this was one of them.
No way.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, I'd take that for free any day, man.
Yeah, so I grabbed it.
Shit, I'd buy it. I'll tell you the truth. I would buy this record up to, as an album, I'd buy it up to about $4. That's where I'd stop.
All right. That means you're going to rate it higher than a 4.
I am. You're right. Actually, you're right. You're right.
Okay. Final Frontier. Here's my thoughts on it. The first song, Final Frontier, great fist pumping opener.
Yep.
Cool gang choruses. Rock and Roll Animal. It sounds like a Quiet Riot song to me. Rock and Roll Animal just sounds like something they would sing about.
All right, hang on a sec. I got to interject.
Yeah.
I got to interject on this song. Tell me, when we're done, you got to listen. Oh, man. Should I risk playing that song right now? Damn. I wonder if I could get away with playing just a few seconds of that. Now I'll get a copyright strike. Okay, so tell me the Rock and Roll Animal does not sound exactly like Rock On Through the Night from Icon.
Oh, yeah.
On through the night,
Yep.
we're gonna let the music play.
Yep.
Rock on. And that it's the exact same thing. And that Rock On was in 84 from Icon, and this is 86. I swear they stole that riff. I
mean, it could be. Like I said, it just sounds like, to me, the chorus just sounds like Quiet Riot to me with Rock and Roll Animal. So,
hey, Malaya, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Malaya. Malaria. I think we got them all covered. All right, so go ahead, Dennis. Sorry.
And then Because the Night, Patti Smith cover. I actually like this. I like this cover.
It. Love that song. And
I don't like a lot of cover songs, but I like this one.
It's a good one. Yep.
Here Today, Gone Tomorrow, kind of a Bon Jovi type of rock song, AOR.
Yep.
Arm and a Leg.
Wrong.
Killer Riffage into the Killer Riffage and Long and Song. Okay. Raised on Rock, reminiscent of Right to Rock, cool banger, anthemic. Just Another Girl, bouncy AOR ballad. Kind of not my thing on that song. Tears of Fire. Should have been a video. Sounds like a ballad that White Lions or Scorpions would do.
Yeah.
I wrote Emotive Killer should have been a hit. And apparently it was. So Nightfall, great acoustic guitar, reminiscent of Yngwie interlude, almost like a Spanish guitar. No Pain, No Gain, ends on a high note, killer, upbeat rocker. Top vocal form, I think Keel is on this last song. Probably my favorite song on the record, besides the opener. But yeah, I like those two songs the best. And not my favorite Keel album, but it's okay. I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
We're not far off. Not far off, my friend. Final Frontier, not a bad opening track. Very 80s sounding, though, but solid overall. Rock and Roll Animal sounds so much like Rock On Through the Night from Icon. And let's see, do I like the Icon song better or do I like the Keel song better? Oh, I think it's the Icon song, yes. Because the night belongs to lovers. Good song, good cover. I like it. Very, very good. Very good. He doesn't go overboard on the vocals in this. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
He doesn't start screaming everywhere. Here Today, Gone Tomorrow. Intro is way too long. Okay track. Great solo on this one, though. Arm and a Leg. Shreddery right out of the gate, but the song is just so obvious by the numbers. But the chorus is mundane. The chorus is mundane, but it's kind of a bit catchy. Raised on Rock. There's okay, hold on. Raised on Rock. The scream at the very beginning there made me run and hide under the table. Very generic LA club rock meh. Na 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 na, never gonna stop. Holy shit, so cliched. Ugh. Just Another Girl, like you said, very poppy, but one of the better actual songs on the album, but super poppy. Definitely we're trying to get that on the air. Why that wasn't a single, I don't know. Tears of Fire, the 80s metal ballad. Very typical, but probably the best track on the album as far as songwriting and great emotive connectivity. Again, he doesn't go overboard on the vocals on that one, which is why I think I like it. That
It's a good song.
Yeah, and it's a good song. Nightfall, cool acoustic instrumental track, quite nice. No Pain, No Gain leads off with a blood-curdling scream and doesn't let up from there, frankly. Okay track, but that vocal scream section, wow. I'm going to go 5.5 on this one because in general the songs are a little better. The production is fine. The drums and cymbals always, that could be what I'm listening to on YouTube. They always tend to, brick wall or peek out when it's uploaded. And yeah, so I went 4. What did I do here? Just double checking my marks. 4.
No, you went. I think you went 5 on the first record.
Did I go 5? Okay, I must have bounced it up a little bit. You must have convinced me to.
I convinced you. Like I said, one more up, 5.
All right, 5, 4, and 5.5. I don't know what that averages out to, but probably about a 5. So not so great. I'm going to admit I tapped out on Keel. I could not do the last one. You're on your own, buddy. Go for it.
Oh shit! All right. I don't actually own this record. From '87. Not really. I'm gonna have to go with that. I'm not really a big fan of this record, but it's okay. The first song, United Nations, kind of a stripped down, and here we can tell the band is like kind of going for way more of a commercial sound. Stripped down, kind of has a Dawkins sound, but a generic Dawkins sound. Yeah, it's just them on the cover.
Yeah, look at those poses, man. I mean, it's a bad photo because I blew it up. But look at Ron Keel in the middle there, man.
Yeah.
Looking all tough. They're all looking like tough guys. And they're all in their leathers and their leopard pants. I mean, Keel's got leopard pants on, man. Come on now. He's such a badass. Leopard spandex, man.
Yep. The second song, Somebody's Waiting. I like this track a lot. It's a cool track. I love the chorus. And then Cherry Lane comes on, kind of glammy and generic. I don't like this song. Calm Before the Storm, boring ballad. King of the Rock, back to rockin', more like something off the Right to Rock album. It's a cool song. It's a jungle out there. This is a killer song. Gang vocals, probably the best song on the record. The chorus is cool. It's a little uneven sounding, but I like this sound, the song. I said, this is a long fucking title for this song. I said the wrong thing to the right girl.
Oh my God. That's awful. That's seriously awful right there.
Yeah. Total ARO, Bon Jovi, Poison territory. Not a good song.
Yeah, and we're talking, what year was? Oh, I didn't give any.
This is 87.
87,
so.
Yeah.
Don't Say You Love Me, more Dawkins-esque rocker.
Don't say you love me. Oh no, that's Night Ranger. Never
God,
mind.
the fucking the titles on this. Here's another one. If love is a crime, I want to be convicted.
Oh my God. Like, who the fuck? What were they doing, man? Oh.
Unfortunately, I wrote cool rocker.
Cool rocker.
Dig the riff. 4th of July.
You know, we're killing Kyle in the chat right now. He's probably crying right now. These guys suck, man. Sorry, Kyle. Sorry, dude.
Cool.
Not all 80s metal worked for me, bro. And I was there, and I don't know how old you are, Kyle. I'm gonna guess you're in your 20s. I'm guessing maybe early 20s or mid 20s. I know Malaya's in her early 20s, and I was there in the 80s in my 20s. I didn't like everything, man. Some of it just flat out fucking blew. This doesn't blow, but it's a fine line. It could go either way.
No, it's got some cool songs. Like I said, it's got like 4 or 5 really good songs on it. The rest are like throwaway songs. But yeah, I still like the record. I'm still going to give it a 5.5 out of 10.
Look at you, man. You softy. If love is a crime, I want to be convicted. I don't know how it goes, but I could just sing that in my head.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give him credit for that title.
It's a jungle out there.
Woo. That song's cool. That's a cool song.
29. There you go. You're 29. All right. So that kind of makes sense. All right. So I bailed on that one. And okay, dude, we're at the halfway point. I want to thank you for choosing 2 bands that I didn't have a lot of familiarity with. I think with my 2 choices, you definitely are familiar with one of them. Yep. And the other you were not, correct? Or were you?
Correct.
Okay, so we're going to get into Badlands. That means I get to do some show and tell. We're saving, for me, the best for last, but I love this band a lot too. And so when Jakey Lee was fired from Ozzy, which was, I believe, in 1987, and I don't remember what the deal was. There was something, his look and what he wanted to write and how he wanted to write Sharon didn't approve. And when Sharon doesn't approve, you don't work for Ozzy anymore. But this album comes out, and it's Jakey Lee right here on this end here. Jakey Lee. Next to him is Eric Singer,
Eric Singer.
who's in Kiss now, who's been in Kiss and a bunch of other bands. Next to him is Greg Chase on the bass player, Singer's drums, and the mercurial and sadly gone Ray Gillen, who was in Black Sabbath, and he had another band in Jersey. I forget the damn name of it. You'd have to look it up. I knew it, but I don't remember every single detail all the time. But this band put out this album in 1989. We want to talk real briefly about. I just want to hit a couple brief things on Badlands. I had them written down, but I can't. They're not where I thought they were. So let me do this real quick because there are a couple of details that probably ought to be gone over. They were A Surgical Steel is the name of the Greg Chason's band, by the way, and Eric Singer was replaced after the first album. I think it had something to do with touring, and he just didn't want to. He didn't want to do the touring with the band. They came out with this album in 1989. Ray Gillen left in 1991, and a guy named John West came in to fill in for him. But then Gillen came back, and they only really put out 2 albums during Ray Gillen's lifetime. The debut, which is just Badlands, and the second one, Voodoo Highway, in 1991. So we're still in that right over the edge of the 80s. We're cool there. And I just want to see, Jeff Martin was brought in on drums. He used to be in Racer X, I think Cacophony, or was Racer X. He's as drummer. Let's see, what else? Yeah, June of 89, the album is released. They had one big video, Dreams in the Dark, and the Zeppelin-like Winter's Call. The album actually peaked at 57 on the Billboard charts back then. That's pretty good, actually. It's quite good. The band opened a 3-month touring cycle for Great White and Tesla, and then finished the year in clubs with DAD. Do you remember them?
Who was it?
DAD, the band DAD, Disneyland After Dark. You don't remember that band?
No.
They were opening. Singer was fired from Badlands. He joined Paul Stanley's solo club band and then played with Kiss following the death of drummer Eric Carr. Badlands picked up Jeff Martin of Racer X, who was Chason's bandmate in a Phoenix band called Surgical Steel. Disagreements arose between the band and Atlantic about musical direction, also between Gillen and his bandmate about the inclusion of the planned albums of songs he had written. He wanted more songs on than Jakey Lee, and Lee recalled that shortly after the first album's tour in 90, Gillen was first diagnosed with AIDS and was starting to get really thin and didn't look quite healthy. After the band released Voodoo Highway, Gillen left the band as friction increased during the UK tour. Lee at the time announced he had hired Los Angeles native Debbie Holiday from the band Stiletto to replace Gillen on their UK tour. However, before this occurred, the band quickly redrafted Gillen to come back and finish the tour. Then he finally left. I got to see these guys, and I'll talk about that. You could tell there was something going on there, man. We'll get into that. I'm going to let you go first on this. I'll show the album off again real quick, and I want to show this because it's kind of a special edition that I got. This album, you could not. God damn it. You could not find this album on eBay, Amazon for years.
Really?
You just couldn't find it. Yeah, because what happened was when Ray Gillen died, he apparently infected a few women with AIDS knowingly.
Oh.
He knew he had AIDS, and he slept with a couple women, and he got them. They became HIV positive. I don't know if they're alive or dead. I don't really know. I got a bad feeling a couple of them may have passed. The record company was brought into a lawsuit a class action lawsuit was brought by some of the survivors and some of the girls that were still alive when that happened. This thing was basically wiped off the market. It was not reproduced or reissued until a couple years ago. I think 2018, I believe. Cherry Red finally got licensing to do it, and I think the statute of limitations on the lawsuit had run out or something like that. But the reason they were not selling this was because if they sold it or reproduced it, every penny of it was going to this fund. Now, you'd think that would have been a good idea to do that. I might have my story wrong on that, but I don't think I do. I remember reading about this digging down deep into message boards about 10 years ago, and why I could not find this anywhere, because I originally had it way back when it came out, 89, and I made a fucking mistake, and I purged a lot of my CDs in the early 90s, and this was one I got rid of, and I regretted it ever since then. Finally bought this around 2017, and what makes this special is Nick's wondering if I became a samurai. You're fucking right, I am. This is the Japanese version, guys. It has the bonus track on it, which is called Ball and Chain. It came out on Titanium and Atlantic, and it was produced by Paul O'Neill. You know who Paul O'Neill is, right?
Nope.
No, Sabotage and TSO. He's the guy that started the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Paul O'Neill. He died a couple years ago of drug intoxication or something. But here's what's cool about it. See that? The insert?
Yeah.
Is all in Japanese on the one side, and the lyrics on the other are in English. So, and I got this back on eBay from some dude that I swear did not know what he had, because this back in the day was going for $100, $125 easy. And this guy threw this up as a buy it now, 25. I saw it, and I'm like, I'm going to go rob a bank if I don't have $25 in my account. I'm just, whatever. I want that CD. Nailed it. Got it. And so, yeah. So this man was new to you, and you didn't know about him at all until I brought him up, right?
Until I heard the one song. I think it was a video. I think it's Dreams in the Dark.
Dreams in the Dark was the video.
I had heard that song before. As soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, I remember this song.
Okay, cool. So what's your take on the album?
So you want me to talk about the record or just go straight for the song?
Talk about the record and go through the songs.
So like I said, 89 would definitely not be something I would have bought or even like would listen to. So far off my radar for what I was listening to in 89. So yeah, cool record to kind of like hear as far as like stuff like this that I'd never like really paid attention to. I just considered it glam rock or whatever, glam metal at the time, which I guess it was lumped into. I didn't even know Jakey Lee was in this band until I was like, what? Jakey Lee's in this, and Ray Gillian. And I know Ray was on that Black Sabbath record, but then they like cut his vocals out.
Yeah, Eternal Idol. They cut him out, and his version is way better than Tony.
Yeah, Martin. So if I actually looked it up on YouTube, and you can find the version where he sings on it. It's bad.
Yeah, there's a legacy edition of that, Dennis, that you can get both versions in the same CD.
Yeah,
like both. The one is demos of Ray, and don't get me wrong, I like Tony Martin, but Ray fucking smokes him. Easy. Yeah,
he's a really good vocalist. So I will say this about this record: it's really well produced. It's really you could tell they spent a long time on the songwriting. Things I don't like about it is it just a lot of songs sound like Led Zeppelin, like straight up Led Zeppelin songs, like almost like verse for verse Led Zeppelin songs where I'm like, okay, like he's almost singing the same chorus, but he switches it around a little bit. But he can sing. I mean, he sounds like Robert Plant a lot. And then there's other songs that he doesn't sound like that. He sounds more like he does on Black Sabbath. So I thought that was a cool kind of mix up on this record. And let me get into the songs. High Wire, I really like this song. Upbeat, bluesy, Zeppelin. Almost has a little smidgen of Guns N' Roses in it. Solo's sick on this song. Love it. Dreams in the Dark. Just a banger of a song. Great song. I can see why this is a video. Just super catchy. Something you remember. Like I said, I heard it, back in whenever in the 80s, and I still remember it when I heard it again. So kudos to the songwriters on that one. Jade song. I like this intro to this song. It has a very 70s feel to it. Almost reminds me of like James Taylor or someone. Which then it does go into a Winter's Call, which does progress into kind of like a 70s songwriting song, bluesy Zeppelin song with kind of, and it has like almost a Sunset Strip edge to it. Cool song. Streets Cry Freedom, 80s anthem rocker. This is probably the hardest rocking song on here. Kind of has an AC/DC midsection to it. I like the riffs on this. Hard driver, similar to Streets, kind of. Gillian sings almost the same way. Chorus is kind of weak on this, but it's an upbeat rocker. Ramblin' Trains, super bluesy. Reminds me kind of like when Van Halen gets bluesy, and Eddie just does these bluesy songs. The guitar just really reminded me of that. But it's a cool song. And then Devil Stomp, that's another cool song, really heavy. And I'm not going to keep saying Zeppelin, but just assume that most of these songs are going to have a Zeppelin.
You can't deny it. This album has Zeppelin written all over it, man. Hard.
Seasons, kind of a cool power metal, great vocals. This sounds like it was meant for an MTV video. I don't know if it was. Ball and Chain, you were saying was an extra song. Kind of a hard rock banger, fine line between, again, kind of I hear some Guns N' Roses in this as well. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed this record. I'm glad that you brought it to my attention. It's a cool record. I added it to my playlist to listen to every once in a while, and I definitely like that Dreams in the Dark song that I totally forgot about. So
I'm going to give it. If you ran into out in the store for $10, you'd grab, or
yeah. And I would say that too about one of the other records coming up that we'll talk about that I'd grab, but wouldn't. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. But yeah. So yeah, if I saw it for like $10, I'd definitely buy it. It's a cool song. Like I said, if you like Led Zeppelin, this is an amazing record. But for me, not super my thing, but I'm just for what it is, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Cool. Let's see. Let's hit a couple quick. So Malay, I think you might have schooled me on something. I could have sworn on my life that Cherry Red reissued that debut album. I could have swore I saw it somewhere. So it might have been a boot, but I just looked it up. There's 2 copies of Badlands debut CD on, and this one's sealed. So this is sealed. So something, I suspect this is a boot, but there you go. If you want to spend $49.99 and it's $5 shipping, you can get a bootleg, I think. There's another one on here that's $41 with free shipping. That looks legit to me. 41's actually kind of low. I thought it would have been more than that. And it is the bonus track one, so I'm kind of curious because, yeah, interesting. I don't know. 41, I would have thought it would have been more than that. But I think you are right, dear. I think you might very much be right because I looked up Cherry Red, and I can't find them on their roster of bands. So maybe I thought I saw that somewhere. I could have swore I saw the one with the sticker because Cherry Red does these reissues of – they reissued Icon, for example, very limited runs, and then they put these big stickers on them and they're big 3,000-word essays and shit. Could have swore I saw that, but I think I'm wrong. I may very well be wrong. So, yeah, if you find this on vinyl, dude, somewhere, and it's only a couple bucks, you better snag it.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen it too.
You probably have, yeah. Hey, what's up, Tyler? Yeah, Jakey Lee, man, I fucking love his riffing on this, man.
Yeah.
He's so damn good, man. Let's see. Where's that riff? Oh, you fucker, where'd it go? Oh, there's that riff on. Let's see. Bore everybody real quick. Oh, don't fall. Okay, it's Can you hear this? Yeah, it's fucking. I can't remember how it goes. That's it. I'm fucking it up. I can't play because that fret is so fucked. But anyway, that's a killer riff, and I love Highwire, man. The way this album starts off is fucking brutal as hell. Highwire, good riff off that album. Yeah, it says Winter's Call. Yep. Okay, I'm out on Badlands. Not my thing. Oh, for fuck's sake, Jake. Fred is the weirdest dude ever, man. I'll listen to something, but I won't listen to anything else that I don't know anything about. I might actually learn something. Oh my god. I love Voodoo Highway. It's a good album. Yep. Badlands albums are banned. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I went into that whole situation. I knew that like 20 years ago, actually, but very weird. Very, very weird. Wonder what Dad sounded like. I thought it was No, they're a hair metal, I believe.
Dad rock.
Nick's in the house, and I get the samurai thing now. I didn't know what you meant, but yeah, I just tired of my fucking hair in my face. Ryan, he's waiting on Crimson Glory. We're getting there. It's still banned. Okay, I thought it was, and I don't know, but Jake sort of has something to do with that. I think Jake was like, he didn't want to profit off that based on what he knew, because he knew that Ray hadn't been a good dude about it. I'll tell you my story on Voodoo Highway, where I didn't meet the guys, but I saw them very up close and personal. Keep your sword sheathed. There we go. Yes, very impressive. I like both. I like the first one a little better, Malaya. Ray is just a fucking monster singer on that one. Motley Crue, I found this first Badlands seat on $20. Oh, there you go, dude. You grabbed it. Good for you. Yeah, I don't know why it's very warm in my room, and I think my neck on my guitar warped even more. It sounds awful. All right, so for me, I'm going to go into it quick here. Debut 89, Atlantic, Paul O'Neill. High Wire, that riff, those vocals, get out of here, man. I fucking love that track. That first track is badass. Dreams in the Dark, catchy earworm, definitely written for an MTV video to get radio airplay. You can't deny it's got a killer song. Jade Song, pretty wistful acoustic instrumental. Winter's Call, killer ballad, heavy Zeppelin, kind of Badlands, Cashmere, or Rain song, a heavier version of Rain song. Then the heavy riffs and chords kick in. Killer, it's a favorite track of mine. Dancing on the Edge, fast-paced rocker that sounds more like an 80s hairband. That's their hairband song, but has darker tones and vibes than, and then that chromatic sliding chord thing that happens into the catchy chorus. Great tune. Streets Cry Freedom. Oh, man, I love this song. Epic. Huge Led Zeppelin meets modern metal. Has a bit of a No Quarter vibe to it. That song reminds me of No Quarter for some reason. Killer, great lyrics. The jam part rips. That slide solo he does in there. Oh, my God. And screams, Ray's screaming over it. Monstrous. Hard Driver. Slamming up tempo, foot stomper, headbanger. Rumbling Train, very bluesy, churning burner rocker, great. And that's the thing about Badlands. They definitely got a lot of blues in them, man.
Yeah.
Like Jake, he's tapping in. He totally doesn't sound like he does on Ozzy. Except for his guitar tone, he doesn't sound anything like he does on Ozzy. Devil Stomp, man. That fucking acoustic intro is so good. Oh, man. That memorable chorus, foot stomper, bluesy metal monster. Seasons, the moody killer closing track, the most Zeppelin-like song of all. Definitely has a Rain song vibe to it most prominently. And I fucking love that song, man. So good. Japanese bonus track, Ball and Chain. Sludgy, but kind of reminds me of High Wire riff a little bit. Solid. This is a favorite 80s hair metal release. If you want to call them hair metal, I don't think they are. Very little hair metal in it. Bluesy, but in a good way. Groovy. But I love blues. I love groove, man. You do groove right, I'm going to get into it, And just enough poppiness in there to be catchy, full of manliness and hairy chests, and killer performances throughout. I got to go 9.5.
Wow.
Due to the riffs. Yeah, due to the riffs, the amazing vocals of Gillen, and Eric Singer and Greg Chason had nice contributions as well, but the two main dudes are Ray Gillen and Jakey Lee, and they're the stars of the show. 9.5. Next up, we've got an OG Press from Atlantic Records. Probably find this anywhere you want. Sorry about the light, guys. I got to figure something out on that. Yeah, that's not going to help. Let me see something. There we go. Either way. Voodoo Highway. And this is interesting because it's got doesn't have the Atlantic thing. It's got the gator on there, which is kind of cool. The gator with the dobro in his mouth. Yeah, this one is an original that I probably got when it came out, and I didn't get rid of this one for some reason. And Malay, you asked whether I liked this one or the other one better. I really do like this one a lot, and I think I kept this one because I thought I liked it more than the first one, and that's why I got rid of the first one, but I ended up getting the first one back anyways. Is that what they called Mr. Big and Firehouse? I guess. I don't oppose. Yeah, probably, I would guess. All right, Dennis, what you got on this one, dude?
So that one I didn't really listen to because it was from the 90s, and I was like, not really going to go into this one, but I did actually listen to like most of the record.
Okay.
Just because I was interested in it.
Any thoughts?
I did. I like it. I mean, it sounds a lot like the first record. I'm not gonna say it sounds different. I think the production is a little bit better. I think it's a little beefier as far as the sound goes. It doesn't sound. I guess it would sound more like a '90s record. I guess as far as the production goes, it's bigger. It doesn't have. It's not as teeny sounding as the original. Or I mean, as the first record. But I didn't really go deep into the songs. But like I said, it does sound very similar to the first record. So I don't think they strayed too far off the path of where they were going. But
I think I disagree with you.
Okay, like I said, I didn't deep dive into it as far as that. I just heard I listened to a few songs off of it.
Yes, there's a similar sound, but this album gets even more bluesier. Considerably more, yeah. And the songs are shorter, less Zeppelin-y sounding. They're definitely not as Zeppelin sounding on this one. I would say, let me pull up the details on the album. It was on Atlantic Records. It was their first one, obviously, 1991. So we were still in that time frame. They fire Eric Singer, and he leaves to go to join Kiss. Jeff Martin, who had previously sung lead vocals in the band, Surgical Steel Racer X joins. So they bring him in, and they team up again in the Blindside Blues and Red Sea following. That's talking about Greg Chason. Okay, so the song Joe's Blues is named after then Tarif and future Ozzy Osbourne guitarist Joe Holmes. Okay. Oh, I remember Joe Holmes. Joe Holmes came in after Randy Rhoads died. Ray Gillen briefly joins Holmes in Tarif after leaving Badlands. 2005, American Idol star Bo Bice made the second to last round singing In a Dream, which is the last track on the album. I didn't know that. How about that? He lost to Carrie Underwood. So this album was recorded at Rumbo and Indigo Ranch and Studio 3, or 2 rather, in LA. It came out June 7th, 1991. It was out on Titanium Atlantic, and it was produced by Jakey Lee and James Paul. So Paul O'Neill's not involved this time. And I think it's definitely got a more earthy production. It's, like you said, a little bit fatter sounding, and it's way more bluesy sounding. Way, way more bluesy. There aren't the big giant Zeppelin references on this one at all. It's a lot less Zeppelin. You don't have 2 big long tracks or 3 big long tracks like you did on the first album. And I don't think they used the net, though. They just had long ass fucking hair, especially Jakey Lee and Ray Gillen. Those two were, had mains, big time mains. This album is the tour I saw them on. I saw them down in Baltimore at Hammerjacks, which doesn't even exist anymore. And that was, I want to say it was October, between October, maybe September and December. I just can't remember the month, but I remember being pretty cold. I dragged my wife down with me. We weren't yet married. We didn't marry until 94. But we'd been living together since 87. So it was I don't know if we were engaged then or not, but I'm like, hey, you're going to love this band, babe. Yeah, she didn't really love the band. It was just my way to not have to go alone, right? To Baltimore. And I will see you, Malia.
Night.
Malia. Terrible at saying your name. I apologize. What's that? Oh, yeah, for sure, man. For sure. But, yeah, this album, I'm going to go down a track run. The Last Time. That's a real catchy opener. Very hook-laden. Super catchy chorus memorable. The last time I think I'm falling in love. I can't get up to his range, man. He's a good octave above me. Show Me the Way. Very bluesy. Porch strummer type song. Great vocals. Very bluesy. Into the riff section. Shine On is another... Last Time hit. It jumps out at you as that great chorus. Shine on. Da, 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 da. I don't know the words off the top of my head. Whiskey Dust. Funky, driving, bluesy, cracker. Great tune. Lots of Hendrix references by Jakey Lee all over that. He really plays a lot like Hendrix on this album. What's that? What's that song called? Jack Doug? Joe's Blues. I wrote down Joe's Blues and it came out as Jake Doug. So that's what I got fucked by the autocorrect thing. Funky driving bluesy. Oh, I'm sorry. Country blues rag on acoustic. Really sweet. Soul Stealer. Tons of nasty on this one. And Ray doing his best Robert Plant impersonation. That one's smoking. That's the real Zeppelin track on there. My favorite track, 3 Day Funk, Rules. My favorite killer solos, killer vocals, funky, swingy. Yeah, man. That song rules. Silver Horses, that guitar tone is nasty and good. Monstrous track, psychedelic solo with all the delay, super nasty. I love Silver Horses. Love Don't Mean a Thing. Again, that's definitely a song that was written for radio. It has radio. I don't know if that was taken as a single off this. I didn't look that up. I don't think it was. I think the last time was the only song that they did singles for, I believe. And this one went only, remember, the first album went to 57 in the Billboard 200. This one only went to 140. And the UK did much better because they liked this style of music over there. But the reality of it was that that Atlantic was already like, we don't really like the direction you're heading, and now grunge is coming in. You want to do another blues rock, hard rock album? I don't know about that. Fire and Rain, they covered James Taylor. Pretty straightforward, but I love that song. I like Ray's take on it. Voodoo Highway, very swampy, bluesy, nasty, slide, dobro, gnarly. Heaven's Train, very high wire ripoff. Heaven's Train is definitely a high wire ripoff. And the last song, In a Dream, Jake and Ray closing the album on a quiet note, shows how good Ray's voice is. I love this album, but not nearly as much as the first. It's more hit geared, so I'm not as nuts about it. And production actually is fatter, but it's a little muddier to my ears. I'm going to go an 8 out of 10 on that one. Not the 9.5. And then the last one in the catalog is the final one that was released after Ray died. Ray died in December 3rd, or I think it was December 3rd, 1993. This is the final Badlands album. This is the Z version that came out in 2000. It's Pony Canyon and Z. This was all basically a demo. This was the demos. The Atlantic was toying with dumping them, and they wanted to hear demos. So they went in and cut all these tracks. There's 10 tracks. A friend of Ray's lent them studio time so they didn't have to pay for the studio. And they cut all these songs, all 10 of these tracks were, according to the drummer, they were cut live in the studio in 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours. That's fucking crazy. And he says everyone made mistakes except Jake. And Jake's like, oh, yeah, I made mistakes too. But Jeff was like, yeah, I can't hear him, man. He's fucking perfect on it. Hadn't listened to this album in a long time. What do you think? Did you even check it out?
I did not check that one out.
All right, I'll go through.
I didn't even see that was a release. So,
my bad. I should let you know. Came out 10/24/19. I'm sorry. This one came out in 1998. It was recorded in 92, 93. Late 92, early 93. Now, keep in mind, Ray is diagnosed with AIDS in 91. So he's already, and apparently he went into full-blown AIDS very quickly. And I read some accounts of people like Al Petrelli from TSO and some of his friends that knew him, and he declined very quickly, and he was pretty erratic about taking care of himself. He was, and not being straight in particular with women, and that's kind of when it's felt that he probably infected some of these women with HIV. Again, I don't know whether any of them died or not, but he died, so it's a pretty good chance that whatever he had was pretty intensely ravenous and took him out. So I am looking here, and what the fuck is going on? Did I lose that? You know what? Son of a bitch. I somehow lost. How about that? I fucking did that album, and I lost it all on my son of a bitch. All right, I'm going to go through the tracks real quick. Healer. Good tune. This album's even bluesier than the last one, but it feels a little more organic. Like that live feeling is, you definitely get that that on this album. The second song, Sun Red Sun. Dennis, you got to check that song out. Just that song, Sun Red Sun.
All right.
Killer. Maybe one of their best songs they ever did. Sun Red Sun, oh my only child, you're the one. So good. Tribal Moon, it's okay. The River was written with Greg Trayson, and then he redid it later when he did a solo album. It's really good. The River's really, really cool. I'm having trouble seeing this, guys. I'm sorry. It's dark print on the... There we go. There we go. Walking Attitude. The Fire Lasts Forever. I don't like that song. Dog, Fat Cat, and Walking Attitude. All very, very funk-driven songs. Very groove-driven songs. Lots of killer playing by Jakey. I'm telling you, man, these are live. Jakey is smoking on this album. He lets rip. It's worth having this album if you're into Badlands at all. Check this album out. The last song is called Ride the Jack. Super funky. And then Lord Knows was an old track that was supposed to be done on the first album. Lord Knows is really killer too. I'm going to give this, because of what they were dealing with, and the band was disintegrating, and they knew that. Atlantic got these demos of this album and passed on them and dropped them 6 months after those demos were cut. And Jake and Ray were not speaking very much because Jake, I think, was really upset about what happened with Ray and him not telling people. I think he was getting wind something was going on. Not a good deal. They went out on a tour, and I saw them, like I said, late 91. And, man, you could feel the fucking tension on the stage between Jakey Lee and Ray Gillen. Like, they'd play, and you know how a lot of guys, when they go over, they'd be going over, and they'd be doing this, jamming to the riffs. Ray would just walk, and Ray was a big dude, man. He looked like he was about 6'2", 6'3". Jake's pretty little. Jake's my size, 5'8", maybe 5'9", 5'7", somewhere in that range. Ray's towering over him, and he'd just walk over at him. He'd do this, but he'd stare. And you just were like, that's kind of weird. Like, it just wasn't – it was a weird vibe to the show, you know what I mean? Jake was amazing. Ray was fucking phenomenal. That voice was amazing live, dude. What you hear on record, man, was even better live, I swear to God. But he did not look healthy. He looked thin. He was sweating really, really bad. And the club was not really that hot, you know what I mean? A bunch of us were standing around in sweatshirts and shit.
Yeah.
A fight broke out. Believe it or not, at a band show, a fight breaks out in the pit. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on, man. Fucking blues hard rock. What are you fighting for, you douchebag? And a fight breaks out, and fucking Ray stopped the music during one song. They just started a song. I think it was Devil Stomp. He's like, hey, you fucking motherfuckers. Knock it off or I'm coming down in there, man. I was like, oh, shit, dude. Like, what is going on? We were back because my wife didn't want to be up front. I started up front, and then I came back to her because I didn't want to leave her hanging back there and let some crusty metal dude try and pick up on her or something like that. But because I shot above the mark with my ex-wife. There's no doubt about that. But, yeah, man, I'll give this I'm going to give it a 7.5. 7.5 out of 10. It's quite good. Yeah. All right, man. We're on to the Crimson Glory. And
Crimson Glory.
What's that?
I said Crimson Glory.
Fuck yeah, man. Now, a lot of people might be like, well, why did you pick this band? Because, of all the bands we're talking about, probably in the metal sphere, this is probably the most metal, i.e. most well-known, right? I mean, they're much more huh?
You would think.
I mean, maybe not, I don't know, maybe not over Keel during that short window of time when they were popular.
Yeah.
But I would think amongst metal heads, this band is the best well-known one, right?
I would think so, but you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people that don't know about this band.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know how that's possible. So, real quick on the history thing with that. And Dennis, which ones of these do you have? Or which ones of the albums do you have? The first two?
The first two.
First two, okay. Let me just pull up. So, Crimson Glory was actually formed in 79.
Yeah.
By Ben Jackson and Dana Burrell and a bunch of other people, guitarists and bassists that came and went. By 83, they solidified their lineup. Their initial name was called Pierced Arrow. Then they changed it to Beowulf. Yeah, good idea not to go with the Beowulf thing. They settled on vocalist Midnight, whose actual real name was John Patrick McDonald Jr. Midnight's cooler. John Drenning on guitar, main guitar, Ben Jackson on guitar, bassist Jeff Lords, and drummer Dana Burnell. So Dana and Ben were two of the original guys. With that, they rose to international fame in the mid-'80s and were considered one of the pioneers of American progressive power metal, along with Queensryche, Dream Theater, Fate Warning, and Watchtower. During their career, they released 4 solo or studio albums and 1 EP. I did not know that about the EP, so I missed that. I missed the EP. They were signed to Roadrunner and distributed by MCA, and then Atlantic, and then across Spitfire for their last album. We are not going to review Astronomica because it was a long gap there till that came out, and it was not the same band at all. It was just Drenning, Wade Black, and I think Jeff Lords, and I'm not even sure about the drummer, to be honest with you. And I don't own it, and I probably will never own it. Anything else here? Anything else? Anything? So you got anything on that?
No, I think you covered it.
Oh, one quick thing to note is they rehearsed for 4 years before recording the self-titled debut. Which, you want to show that, Dennis?
Yeah.
There we go. The original self-titled album was produced by Dan Johnson in 1986 on Par Records.
Par Records. This is the Par Records version.
Dude, that's killer. You have that. That's nasty, man. I wonder what that's worth. That's got to be worth some cash, I would think.
I don't know. Here's what they look like back then on that.
The full mass. They had the full mass there.
Yeah, they had the full mass.
They went to partial mass on Transcendence. Check that out. Where'd you get that? Do you remember?
I found it used somewhere.
No way.
Yeah.
You fucking suck, man. That's awesome.
I mean, because no one wants to buy something with that cover. That's why.
I love the cover. You don't like that?
Oh, I mean, I'm just saying, if nobody knows what this band is, it's not a big selling point.
Yeah, exactly. But they were then it was later reissued after signing to Roadrunner Records. It was called Road Racer back then, and I'll show you.
Road Racer, yeah.
Yeah, let me show you mine real quick. I have an OG Road Racer copy. The European, produced in the Euro. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Is it blurry really bad? Well, you can see Roadrunner, but actually, no, it says Road Racer on there somewhere. Oh, licensed from Par Records. So this is the reissue. I could have swore it said Road Racer on there. Is that on this one? Oh, Road Racer. The second one is on Road Racer. I'm wondering about this one. Because look at the CD. Definitely looks European because the other ones I've seen don't look like that. And I was told that's where this came from. Crimson Glory. Look at that fucking booklet.
That's cool.
Talk about a bare bones booklet. And then
don't do drugs.
The big in here, don't do drugs. Stop the madness.
Yep.
Stop the madness. Par Records. Okay, well, could have swore that said Road Racer on it, but I guess not. Yeah, why don't you talk about this band here a little bit? We'll get
all right. So this is definitely one of the records that has all these different track listings, like my Par Records version, and you can compare it to yours. But the Par Records one starts with Dream Dancer.
No.
Exactly. What's yours start?
Dream Dancer's that's the bonus track, dude.
Right. So that's what the original Par starts with.
That's weird.
And I think your version is, what's yours start with?
Valhalla.
So that's the one I think the reissue starts with. And then if you go to like one on Spotify, it starts with Mayday.
Really?
Yeah, it's all different track listings, all different versions. Which is weird to me that that happened. So
that's strange.
I'm gonna go. Well, I'll just go with the way I listened to it, which was on Spotify, because that was just the easiest way for me to listen to it at work while I was doing the reviews. So I'll start with Mayday. Power, speed, progressive, metal mayhem, full tilt banger, insane solo. Love the double kit bass. And you know what's cool about this song? And it's not like I don't think it's like any other song on this record. It's based on. Did you read the lyrics for any of these?
Oh yeah. I got a lot of lyrics here actually.
Yeah, and so I'm assuming this one is based on the Challenger space shuttle.
Which song again? I'm sorry.
Mayday about the.
Oh, it might be. Yeah, it might
That's
be.
my assumption.
Yeah,
When
because
this
that was
record.
80. That was 86 when it blew up, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, was it 86? I think it was earlier than that.
No, I'm pretty sure the Challenger.
Yeah.
Uh,
But anyways, so I thought that was a cool thing on this because not a lot of the rest of the songs on this record are written like that, but definitely I thought that was a cool vocal or a cool lyrical.
1986, dude. January 28th.
Okay, it was 86. All right. And then I have.
When did this come out? What? Let me see. Hold on. I got it right here. So this came out. Come on, open up. I'm looking at the Par Records one. All it says is 86, but
Yeah, 86. So
worth about $15. High of 35, low of 26. So yeah, and you're right. It does have has a completely different fucking. Dude, the running order is completely different.
on that too, yeah,
Yeah,
it's weird.
that's weird.
I was just noticing that by looking at different things when I was like looking at the record. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, it says bonus track for cassette, Dream Dancer. And then it goes Dream Dancer, Angels of War, Dragon Lady, Azrael, Valhalla, Heart of Steel, Mayday, Queen of the Masquerade, Lost Reflection. And the only thing that's right in that is Lost Reflection at the end for me. Every one of those tracks is different.
Yeah, Lost Reflection is the last, but then it's all different on here. So
yeah, weird.
Just to let you know, it's not going to go in order the way I wrote it compared to what you have. So
yeah.
And then I have Queen of the Masquerade, Fist Pumper, Soaring Vocals. Kind of reminds me a little of Sabotage. Early Sabotage, like the EPs, like Dungeons.
Sirens.
Yep, and Sirens. Valhalla, U.S. Power Metal, a la Queensryche, Heavy and Catchy. Azrael, this is a badass song, man.
Oh, my God.
Just badass. It has a gallop to it, almost a maiden gallop, mid-paced banger. Dragon Lady, more traditional hard. This to me, and you might disagree, has more of a hard rock riff to it. Almost sounds like a Wasp riff to it. But
which
a killer
song? Queen?
Huh?
Which song?
Dragon Lady.
Oh yeah.
Vocals are killer on this track, man.
They are.
Yeah. Lost Reflection has that Gollum vocal intro. Total like D&D shit. Man, I love this song. Probably my favorite song on this album. Just about like somebody being locked in the attic. Shit, dude, man, this song's so badass. It's so epic. I love that song. Heart of Steel, sick, great power ballad, man. Kicks ass. Angels of War, cool song. Probably my least favorite on this record. Sounds a little generic compared to the rest of the songs on the record, but still a cool song. Dream Dancer, another epic. Can't help compare it. I just wish when he says Dream Dancer, it totally reminds me of Dream Warriors by Dawkins. I can't get it out of my head.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Yep.
Dream Dancer, Dream Warriors. I'm like, oh man. But yeah, it's a cool song. And yeah, just a badass fucking power metal record that it's all midnight, dude. That guy just fucking destroys on this record.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just I'm gonna have to go 9.5 out of 10. Just because the Angels of War didn't really wasn't my super favorite, but I'm still going 9.5 out of 10.
I get you. All right. So for me, again, I had this originally on vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sold all my fucking vinyl back in the late 90s, early 2000s like an idiot. Not all my vinyl, but like almost everything.
Yeah.
And why I sold this, I don't fucking know, because it was OG. I don't know, man. I don't know. I did dumb shit back then.
Yeah.
Sold a shit ton of my CDs too, like 300 or 400 of those way back when, and ended up buying back at least 3/4 of them, I would guess. So I bought this, believe it or not. It's funny. I want to show something real quick. So I have this spot on my wall that's been blank since I moved in for a number of reasons. Money's not easy to come by because of my condition and disability, and another reason is I couldn't figure out what to get. Like, I saw a bunch of wall hangings I wanted, and every time I was ready to pull the trigger, I'm like, I don't know. So you get to see my laundry there. Sorry about that, but see that big space behind there?
Yeah.
That above the red thing, that actually is about the size of one of the flags, 4x4s. I finally pulled the trigger last night, and I got this cover, my friend.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. I was like, oh my God, they have Triumph Just a Game. Okay.
Yeah.
And here's what I did. I saved it. It was 1999, right? I saved it into my wish list or whatever. Within 24 hours, this was the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
Literally within 12 hours, I got a 25% off coupon for them to buy it. I'm like, I'm buying it at $15. I want it. They're not perfect. If you get close to them, you can see they're
not. I have a few. I know what you mean.
I mean, if you look like here, I'll show you real quick.
Yeah, they definitely, the printing is not super great.
That's a licensed one, and it's killer.
Yeah.
I mean, the detail is perfect when you get up front. This one is really good. It's really good. If you get up to it though, like right in front of it, 3-4 inches, then you see some stuff. Same thing with the rainbow one. So I don't really care about that. For $15, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I'm good. So I finally pulled the trigger, and that's kind of it. I have Devin to thank for that. He's like, just get the Triumph one, dude. You know you want to. Just get it. Because I was looking at Frank Marino's Strange Universe, which is killer. That's the one with the moon faces all over it. And what was the other? A Still Life and Blackwater Park, a bunch of different things. Tell you what, though, I wish the fuck they would have had this one, but they didn't. Anyway, so I'm going to go through these real quick. I am trying to remember, though. I had the vinyl, and I got to be honest with you. I do not know where I heard about this band. I think somewhere in 88, 89, Transcendence came out, and I was at a CD store. I saw that cover. I recognized the name as something semi-familiar, and I'm like, hey, this was back in the day when, and I don't know if you had those out there in California or wherever you were living, LA or whatever, you could actually go into a CD store, and they weren't in the long box anymore. They were in the little rack like this. You'd take the CD up, and the CD wouldn't be in the thing, but the guy would have it behind the counter. You'd take the empty case up, and he'd give you the CD, and you'd spin it on a little Walkman. That was kind of the deal, right around 99, 89, or 99, excuse me. Yeah, wait. No, 89, 90. And so I put that in, and I fucking immediately, man, I heard Lady of Winter, and we'll get to that out. And then I went backwards and picked up the first album. And not a whole lot of difference between the two of them for me as far as rating. So let's do this. It comes out 10/24/1986. Morris Sounds was I believe where it was recorded. Let me double check here. Because it came out on Par Records, right? We established that.
Yeah.
Produced by Dan Johnson. I don't see where it was actually recorded.
It's Morrisound.
I gotta believe Morrisound because they
Morrisound.
Yeah, they lived right there. So I mean,
yeah, it says in mine Morris.
Says it in yours. Okay, mine is kind of scanned on details weirdly. Yeah, holy fucking shit! Right out.
It's engineered by Jim Morris.
Right. Oh, right. He did the engineering. The other guy did the producing. Right. Holy shit! This is what I say. Jesus Christ! Midnight. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Otherworldly, amazing, power, prog, trad metal, insanely killer. Dragon Lady. This is the running order on the CD, anyways. Midnight screams are not even comprehensible. They are so high. Sustained, piercing, intensely mind-bending. When coupled with his regular singing voice, it's just off the charts. Mind fuckery and the major riffs in this are killer. Heart of Steel, first power ballad rips, but probably my least favorite song on the album, actually. Azrael, oh my God. Masterpiece.
Yep.
Midnight, amazing.
Yep.
Mayday, that scream at the start, just mind-blowing. Slamming Thrasher, his vocals are stupid on this song. Queen of the Masquerade, those guitar harmonies are so sick. That solo to start is wicked, sick, mostly prog song on the album. Most epic song on the album. That's kind of like their prog song, the big prog song. That chorus is badass. The Fairlight bit I could have done without, though. That little, there's a Fairlight thing that they hit some MIDI thing that makes like a sound. Hey, Logan's still up with us, man. Cool. Yeah, we're getting to that. What do we got here? Okay. Angels of War. Okay, the opening is a little bit cheesy, but otherwise another killer track. Lots of insane guitar histrionics and riffs galore. They're all epic as fuck. Lost Reflection. Super badass. Although I hear a little bit of the Lonely chord progression, which is a song that's coming up. The vocals, all those multi-part harmonies, interlocked vocal lines are stunning, and the string orchestration, don't know if it's synths, probably, are killer. A favorite track, I'm guessing this is their most King Diamond-like track, because it's got a lot of King Diamond-like.
Yeah, it's got a lot of theatrics in it.
Theatrics, yeah. Shades of Insanity. Okay, Dream Dancer is not the one I was talking about. Shades of Insanity. Metal Mind. No, here it is. Metal Mind reissue as Dream Dancer on the 2008 CD. A killer long, probably. That song, Dream Dancer, is fucking amazing, man. That song is killer. It sounds more like it belongs on Transcendence, though, weirdly, I think.
Yeah.
That was issued by Road Racer in 1988 as a single, Dream Dancer was, and it's on Dennis's cassette, obviously. In the UK, Europe, more like a sounds more like a Transcendence track. What am I getting here, man? Oh, but apparently is a CD single mini that was issued in Japan and a vinyl 12-inch in Europe that was put out there was only 2,000 copies of those. 2008, Metal Minds out of Poland. No, this is the one that's 2000. 2008, Metal Minds Productions puts out the first debut Crimson Glory album in an issue of 2,000 CDs, and they put that song on there as a bonus. So it's on your cassette. It's not on anywhere else other than the vinyl 12-inch, which I looked them up. They're going for over $100. Wow. And I don't have any idea how many they made. I think it was only 1,000. So this is a genre-defining album for me. It's just monstrously killer. Hard to believe they actually surpassed this album with the next album in 1998 or 1988. There's no way, as good an album as this is, that they should have been able to do better, but they did in my book. This album is full of killer playing, killer songs, vocals, arrangements, and they set the bar so insanely high for other bands in this genre that are entering the genre. This is a 9.90 for me.
Nice.
The snare has a little bit of snap that's too sharp. I've heard demos of Midnight singing in his living room with video. The dude could sing like this for real, which makes no sense. And I talked to Kelly Schaefer earlier tonight. I tried to get him to come on, but he was babysitting his kid. And I said to him, dude, you knew these guys really well. He's like, Midnight was at my 40th birthday party. Just great guys. And he started drinking himself to death with wine, and we all watched it and couldn't stop it. And so Midnight did die in 2008 or 9. I'll have the note down there somewhere. But the guy could really sing like this for real. That's the crazy thing. A lot of those guys from the back in the day, there was studio trickery going on. When you saw them live, they weren't quite as good. This dude live and in the studio in your living room was fucking off the charts. All right, man. So we got this masterpiece next. You have this one, right? You have album, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, I forgot. I forgot to tell you about how I was introduced to this
Oh
record.
yeah. I'm sorry.
I know it's not your fault. I just forgot about it.
Well, I didn't ask you. I should have.
No, so I used to, one of the guys I used to hang out with in high school, his brother had this record, and we were into thrash and death metal, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what we were into. And he used to always make me come in his room and listen to power metal or whatever he was listening to. And he's like, dude, you got to hear this band. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to fucking hear that. And he's like, no, man, you got to hear it. He would like force me, like, you got to hear it. And he would like shut the door and like put it on. And like, sometimes he would do this when I'd call on the phone. He'd be like, check this out. And he'd just put the phone to the speaker for like a full song. But this was one time I was at his house and I remember this cover and he's like, you got to hear this. And I'm like, this actually sounds pretty cool, dude. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to buy this shit, but it actually sounds pretty cool. But that's how I ended up like knowing about the band. I never bought anything until probably like the late 90s, I would say, where I was more like venturing out into different kinds of music, I would say.
What year was that, Dennis, that he did that?
I don't know, dude. It probably had to be like, I want to say like 88 or something.
Okay. No.
Somewhere around there, 88, 89.
Was his brother older?
His brother was older. He was a few years older than us. Not by much, but just like a couple years older, I think.
I mean, dude, you can hear how Crimson Glory in that 86, 88 era did influence some of the Bay Area thrash, like Forbidden, like Blind Guardian.
Yeah.
I mean, they were hearing that stuff. There's no way they weren't checking that out going.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like I said, even then when I wasn't like going to buy the record, but I was like, that's pretty cool. Like I can, like, it's not shitty glam rock. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's still like, I don't, but back then I hated those kind of vocals. Like that was like, I was done with that screaming shit.
Oh, I get it.
Like I had already done that and listened to it. And like, I was on to like death metal and whatever it was. So that always turned me down back then. But even then I was still like, this is a pretty cool record. So when I saw it later on, I was like, oh, I remember that band. I want to pick that up. And that's how I ended up like reuniting myself with Crimson Glory. Just for the background on why I listened. It wasn't something I just started listening to like 10 years ago or something like that. It was definitely, and like you listened to it when it came out because you were into that kind of stuff. But
like, 88, 89-ish.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that the first, I either read a review of Transcendence.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I got to check this out. And then when I saw it in the store and saw the cover, I'm like, oh, man, this has to be good with that cover on. You know how that you do that thing in your head. You're like, Awaken the Guardian. I mean, this album we're about ready to kick into is right there with Awaken the Guardian, Dreaming Neon Black as my top metal albums of all time. It's just, dude.
All right, here it is.
When I put this in the car, I just want to drive around until it's over. You know, I don't care how much gas I waste. I just want to listen to the whole thing.
I actually just got this copy probably maybe 8 years ago, 6 or 8 years ago.
Or original?
No, it's OG.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think they're very rare. It's on MCA, so
yeah, probably not.
I don't think it's like that hard to get. It's probably like a $30 record or something like that. Right, I'm assuming I could be totally wrong. It could be like a $100 record, but I have no idea. I think I paid like $10 for it. Actually,
give us your take on that one.
So this one probably, like you said, it's in my top 10 heavy metal records of all time. Easy. Dude, this album, such an emotive banger, man. I love it. Fucking love this record. Let me get the tracks. But I think you knew I was going to say that, right?
I do, yeah. Because I'm going to say basically the same thing.
Mask of the Red Death starts out just a banger of a song. Definitely has some Maiden-esque moments in it, mixed with like Queensryche total vocal forward on this record. Midnight just outdoes him. I don't know how he outdoes himself on the last record, but somehow he does.
Exactly.
Somehow he's just more emotive on this record. I think and honestly, I think he's singing about subjects that are kind of buried with. I mean, I know he had some issues, obviously, where he was coming from. I don't know the whole details, but I know that that was a big driving force on this record for his vocals. Where Dragons Rule, man, this song is fucking badass, dude. Dio, almost like a Dio song, like amped by 100. I don't even know. Just a total fucking metal.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yep.
Love this song. I want to say it's my favorite song, but I don't know, man. Painted Skies, another shot at kind of a power ballad, very emotive vocals. This fucking rules. The vocals on this rule, man. Red Sharks, just a fucking ripping song, man. Almost like a speed metal song. Almost like has a metal church vibe to it. Just man, this song just rips. I love this song. In Dark Places. Man, I think this might be my favorite song on this record.
Close for me.
Yeah, it's another has almost like a DOS song structure to it, but it's the lyrics, man. It's about like it's so dark, man. It's like, and it's almost like he's talking about like death coming to take him, but he uses like a siren or something from the ocean, like a mermaid or something. But you can tell that that's not really what the song's about. And it has a big Candlemass vibe to it for me.
Doomy, yeah, it's doomy.
Yeah, it's very doomy. Just a man, I love this song. So badass. And then I like, and again, like the way that these songs are, it could not be how the vinyl is. I got this from a different version, but the way I listen to it when it goes into Lonely, and I know this is a big video song. Have you seen the video?
Yep. It's good. It's a great song. I love it.
The song is awesome, but the video is so fucking stupid. It looks like some fucking like it just has a girl in a bed and it's like lonely and like if you just watch it and don't know the lyrics, but it's like about a woman like dealing with like the loss of a loved one and like drinking herself to death and contemplating suicide. It's a really emotional song if you actually look at the lyrics and read the lyrics to the song. I mean, if you just take it as like the video, it just is like, oh man, I miss midnight or whatever. But that's not what the song's about at all. It's great song. I love it. Lady of Winter, just fucking great metal opus, man. Just about like this, it's like about the seasons like taking over and like just I don't know, dude, just like killing people. How the like winter would come over and just kill people. Like Yngwie style riffage on that. I love that song. Burning Bridges. This song again reminds me of Dungeons Are Calling from Sabotage type. Well, the intro does with the Jeff Tate vocal lines. Heavy fucking talking about walking away from like toxic relationships. Fucking great song. Eternal World, ripping US power metal. I like the double bass in this. The fantasy lyrics, just a banger, dude. Killer song. And then ending with Transcendence. Again, I hear some more doomy stuff in here, Candlemass type stuff. Maybe going to the other side of after death with kind of peace and understanding, the transcendence to the other side.
I'm trying to think, when did Epicus come out? 88, 7?
Somewhere around, maybe 86, somewhere around there. I have to look it up.
35 years. Where? Oh, come on now. When did it come out? You bastard. There we go. Came out 86, June of 86. Yeah, so there you go. That was okay. So there was good doom, obviously, coming out that they were hearing.
Yep.
And you said the Sabotage. You brought up Sabotage. That's a very important point because Sabotage is from this area, that Tampa, Sarasota area. They're 35 miles apart. Atheist comes out of there. Cynic kind of comes out of there, sort of, kind of. I think they were Miami initially, but they moved up there, or they were in that area. a lot of killer bands, obviously Cannibal and all that stuff like that. Yeah, Dylan, Kyle, you do have to find these records. There's no question. These absolutely, as a metalhead, you must own these 2 records. They're just genre defining for me. Along with some Sabotage records, Fate's Warning, stuff like that. These are the kings of this style of music. And this one in particular is more proggy than the first one, which is pretty proggy. But it's also a mix of what I would call U.S. traditional power metal, not the happy power metal. Because I saw an interview that I missed talking about the other night, and I totally fucked this up, with Warrell Dane and Jeff Loomis around the time that This Godless Endeavor came out. And they were talking about how the interviewers, they're in Germany somewhere, and the German guy goes, "Oh, you are power metal." And Warrell goes, "Yeah, but what is power metal? Because I thought to be a power metal band, you have to be happy, and there's nothing happy about any of our records." And I'm like, that's why I like it, because I'm not a power metal dude. Like, I respect Halloween, but I don't like the happy stuff. It just sounds too sing-songy, you know. And Marty, I'm sorry, when you watch this, you're going to be like, fuck that guy. Kiefer's full of shit. But no, I just don't like the sing-songy, happy, beer hall sounding sing-alongs. I don't like them. I like this shit here. We're going to get into that a little bit. I'm going to try to sing a little bit. It might not go so well. My voice is not good tonight. I'm having a lot of congestion, but yeah, so give me your final thoughts and final rating.
Final thoughts. Epic, fucking just one of the best fucking heavy metal records ever released. And going along with the lyrics, dude, it's just to me, it's not only a great written record, it's you can tell that there is a lot of emotion going into these, especially in the lyrics and vocals, with what's going on with Midnight. And like I said, I don't know exactly, but you know, we all know that there were some issues there where he was basically going to drink himself to death.
Yeah, but that was quite a ways off, though. I mean, that was a good
but I mean, even then, I've read interviews where people were like, "Yeah, this is why he's singing like this."
Yeah,
and it wasn't because of the drinking; it was because he had issues that led to this drinking.
Right? So. Yeah, he was tortured inside. There was inside stuff going on.
Exactly. Yeah. So. Yeah, so you can hear that in here. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 for me.
How about production?
Production's fucking amazing, dude.
Isn't it fucking pristine?
Yeah, it's fucking everything. You can fucking hear everything, and it's just fucking just spot on. You got to give it to fucking Jim Morris and
he blew it out of the water on this one. Yeah, just crushed it.
And you know, a lot of his production, especially on death metal shit, is kind of off, but.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally the opposite of most death metal albums you're going to hear. I will say this. It's kind of like, oh, fuck. What's his name? The dude that did all the death metal records in the studio. In Morris.
Scott Burns?
Huh?
Scott Burns?
Yeah, Burns. It sounds like a Scott Burns production because, like, if you listen to Atheist albums, they sound crystal clear like this.
Yeah.
The second one does, anyways. Yeah, man. I mean, just fucking okay. Production on this, lights out. End of story, lights out. One of the best produced metal albums you're ever gonna fucking hear. It's so good. Is there a little bit of 80s sounding stuff in there, like the Fairlight? A little bit, some of the synths, but they don't sound cheesy. They don't sound like Casios. They sound pretty epic. All right. Where do I start? Fucking Christ. As I said, this album is a top 3 metal album in my entire life. I feel emotional talking about this album. It's it means so much to me. Yeah. Because you're right. It's so emotional. These lyrics, I didn't pay attention to a lot of Maiden lyrics. I didn't pay attention to a lot of Priest lyrics. I knew stuff, but I didn't pay a lot of attention. This album, I paid attention to all the lyrics for some reason. They're almost like Rush lyrics to me. They speak to me. They pull shit out of me that's just unreal. And again, the first album was kind of genre defining. This album is just, it sets the bar so fucking high that albums like Awaken the Guardian, it's that level shit, man. Even maybe Sometimes I might even say I like it a little more than Awaken, and that's painful to say, man. Or something like Hemispheres. These are genre-defining fucking albums that sit up there in my Mount Rushmore, dude. And this is on that Mount Rushmore. There's no question. Starts out with Lady of Winter, killer opener. Those vocals, those hooks, those riffs, rinse, repeat. It just continues. Red Sharks, their thrash song on the album, man. Vicious, snarling. His delivery on this, the way he's attacking the lyrics and attacking you as a listener is incredible. Painted Skies, man. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Massive prog power metal ballad. Just incredible. It's almost unfair that they wrote this song because I don't think any other band could really live up to this as writing a power metal, prog metal ballad like this. It's so good. I mean, you got, when she's sad, the world is lonely. Silver clouds are crying on for the pain she feels so deep inside. And then it's, the whole thing, where's it going? Spread your wings, you can fly, but the dove is never free. In painted skies that shade the color of your dreams. Only nightmares are real. Confusion conceals the only reason for the feelings you can't hide. The lyrics are just fucking amazing on that song. Top 5 fucking metal song for me. I love it that much. Mask of the Red Death, another thrasher, another power metal propulsive track along with Red Darks. In Dark Places. It's my second favorite track. Painted Skies is my third favorite track. So you want to guess what my favorite track is?
What is it?
Nah, I want you to guess. In Dark Places is number 2 and Painted Skies is number 3.
Transcendence? No? Where Dragons Rule? Oh, shit. Burning
guess.
Bridges?
Boom.
Yeah.
That song blows my fucking mind every time I listen to it. In Dark Places, Jesus, Mother, and Joseph, the mother of all epics, except it's on side 1 of the album. And on side 2, there's an even better track. That's what I'm talking about with Burning Bridges. This fucking crushes my brain. It's so goddamn good. Yes, it's Kashmir-like, but so what? Can there be another epic better than on this album? Yes, there is. In dark places, we will be forever beyond the light. Oh, man, just so good. In Dark Places, we'll be free from the pain that fills our lives.
Yeah, dude.
So fucking good, man. Where Dragons Rule,
fucking
that banger. What's up?
It's a fucking banger, man.
Dude, it's dark.
Yeah.
It's claustrophobic. It's painful, but it's beautiful. It's so beautiful, that song, man. Where Dragons Rule, that chugging riff, running through a flanger, a phaser, wicked midnight, going interstellar vocally, killer. Lonely, very much a radio attempt, and who cares because it's awesome.
Yep.
Oh, my God. Let me see if I can remember how. She awakens from a dream to a silent room where shadows speak of memories. Another sleepless night, afraid to face the day. It seems so long ago she shared the love she feels so deep inside. Her love will never die, but still she feels so lonely in love. I can't get anywhere near going any power to that, but that's the best I got, man. All right, love that song.
That song gets heavy too, dude.
What's up?
That song gets heavy too.
Oh, it gets super heavy, man. The riffs when it kicks in.
Yeah.
All right, Burning Bridges, man. The Mind Crusher. Mind Crusher. This song just destroys me. Those choruses where he goes into the... I'm not going to even try it because my voice can't go up that high. But now I feel the bridges burning, flames reflecting in my eyes. What a fucking cool fucking line. You're watching the bridges burning, the flames reflecting in your eyes, the feeling much too cold to share, another broken heart to spare, smoke clouds dream I've left behind. Fucking amazing. Yep. We've all been hurt before, the pain. And just to love is not enough. So many times I've had to turn away from love I know could be so true to me. Now I stand alone in my dark and lonely world, surrounded by this cold embrace of jealousy. I never meant to bring you sorrow, pain. I never meant to. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I never meant to bring you sorrow. I never meant to cause you pain. I know how much it burns so deep inside. It's burning me too. Leave me silent in the morning light. Hold me close until the morning comes again. I need you so bad. Tell me lies if truth reveals your love. Feel the flames are rising. The bridge is falling. The bridge is burning. And then it goes into that chorus, man. Dude, that fucking song. I don't care if it's about love. I don't care if it's about a real bridge burning. I don't care what it's about. It's so fucking amazingly emotive and intense. It's just.
Well, I mean, I mean, to me, it made perfect sense. Like, there's people that are toxic in your world, whether it's somebody you love or somebody, your friend or someone that's toxic, and you have to get rid of them. Doesn't mean you're not going to miss them. And, you probably hurt them by breaking off that relationship, but it's what you had to do. And it's painful to do, but it's something you have to do to live your life.
Those guitar lines in there, man, that down, 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 down. Oh, it's just like, it's so fucking good, man. But again, that's barely beats out In Dark Places. It's so close. Yeah. And Painted Skies is just up there too. There is not one track on here that's even remotely close to mediocre. There just isn't. And I don't know how they did that. I don't get that at all. I just don't get it. My least favorite track is Eternal World. That's probably the most Maiden riff-like song, and it's a 9.8 out of 10. And then you get to the last track, dude, Transcendence. Oh my God, that's my You said that's probably your favorite track. I listened to that today for the first time in a while, and I was like, oh shit, I kind of forgot how fucking amazing this song is. It's kind of like the last album with damn it, I'm forgetting the name of the album. Lost Reflection. It's just got that almost King Diamond like vibe to it, and you got The Snow is Gently Falling. The snow is gently falling. A white mist fills the air, and then he does the thing. Where is it? I'm trying to find the. I'm forgetting the hook now for some reason because I got other songs in my head. But I hear the cold wind calling. Something's waiting there. I stand alone in silence upon the mountain high. I'm waiting for the spirits' eyes upon the sky. They whisper in my visions. They haunt me in my dreams. They've shown me a world that shimmers and peaceful fields of green. Try to find your sky, your world within yourself. In death I've found the answer. In death I live again. Fear not the reaper's blade. It does not mean the end. Does not mean the end. Does not mean the end. Creepy knowing we know that he died at 47.
Yeah.
And the way he died of a stomach aneurysm. He bled to death from drinking too much. I don't think you're going to find this remotely shocking. This is a 15 out of 10. It's not a 10 out of 10. It's a 15 out of 10. This album, actually both these, but this album right here will go with me in my casket because I want it wherever I'm going. I want to be able to access it wherever I'm going, man. And if I need a physical copy wherever I'm going, cool. If I can just pull it out of the ether, that's great too. But I want that fucker.
Where are you going to get the CD player, dude?
I'll have to bargain for that. I'll probably have to bargain with Satan for that, I'm guessing. He's probably going to want a lot of BJs for that, I'm guessing.
I think he's just going to want a lot of BG's records. So you better bring your BG's records.
Last album you did not do, correct?
I did listen to it. I just don't know the songs. Right, I will give you a quick review of it.
All right, we'll talk about it real quick. This is the third album. And as I said, we did not do the last album, which is Astronomica, which came out in 1999 with a different vocalist. They were actually, because of the success of Transcendence, they were actually swooped up by Atlantic to a major label. They are now, Dana Burnell, the original drummer, left, and Ben Jackson, the original guitar player, both left. They apparently were not digging the direction of this album, and I don't blame them. There are some good songs on here, but generally speaking, this was a huge step backwards. Yeah. Kind of shocking, quite frankly. Go ahead.
So, to me, and I know you disagree with me, but I actually like this album, and it's nothing like the last two albums. But I like how they just mix in all these different genres. Like you can hear You can hear some grunge in here. You can hear some
Yes,
metal,
you can.
little bit of metal. It's not metally at all,
Not
but there's
much.
a little bit metal in here.
Shit, there's even world music in that one song that I fucking hate on here.
It's a lot of tribal stuff going on in this record.
Yeah.
A lot of tribal drumming. It's drum heavy. It's drum forward.
You're right. It very much is.
And the vocals are still good. I mean, different, but he still hits those high notes once in a while out of nowhere. But
not much though. Not much at all. He tones that down a lot.
Yeah, way down.
Way
I mean,
down.
and I was joking with you about the wife beater because I saw him in an interview. He's wearing a wife beater.
Yep.
He's got a little soul patch, and he's like, "Yeah, man, we had to ditch these masks. They're stupid and all this." I'm like, "What? You just?" It was like 2 albums ago. You were like, "We're mysterious." And like
2 years ago, you were doing that.
Yeah, but anyways, it's just whatever. But I like how it mixes a lot of genres because I kind of think they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So it's a mishmash of tribal grunge. There's funk. I hear some Red Hot Chili Peppers in some of these songs. It's just all over the place.
I don't hear that. I gotta admit,
You got to go back because there's definitely some.
Right.
I mean, and just in the bass lines. I mean, it's not like the whole song.
That may be. That might be.
Yeah, you got to listen to some of the bass lines because it's total. Doop, 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 doop. It's got that funk bass line in some of these songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I hear some Alice in Chains in there.
I do that too. You're right. There's some grunge, definitely.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. It's a record that I think you can smoke a joint to, and it would be a cool record. It's not like something I'm going to put on like all the time, but it's one of those records, like you said, if I saw this thing for $10, I'd grab it. Shit, if I saw this for $15, I'd probably grab it. But it's not something I'm going to seek out. I'm not going to go on eBay tonight and buy it. But if it's something I saw in the store, I'd be like, that's a cool record. I'm going to grab it. I think it's just different. And there's not a lot of, and you know what else I heard in this too is like some bang tango type stuff.
I did too. That's weird.
Yeah.
That late 80s, sort of that.
I can't deny it. I just like this kind of music, it could have been a totally different band. I just like this style of music. So it's just what I grew up with, I guess. So,
yeah.
And when I hear something new like this that mixes a lot of that stuff, it sounds, what's the word? It sounds familiar. Like, oh yeah, this is cool. Like I just heard this record like a week ago and I'm like, this is a cool record. Is it Crimson Glory? Nah, it's not like the last 2 records at all, but
no,
I could see that on a record company, you can't keep putting out records like this in 91 because no one's going to buy them because no one listens to that anymore. And you're not going to get any video airplay on MTV with those kind of records. So they had to change their style. So, I mean, either they're going to play death metal or they're going to play grunge or whatever this record is. It's a mixed bag, but they can play music, and I think it's a decent record. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 right now. It could go higher, but right now I'm going to give it a 6.
You're going higher than me, but not a lot. But I'll because this here's the deal on this. I got this for $1 in a cutout bin, maybe 2. It's got the little notch cut in it. Don't remember when, where, or how. It would have been probably 15, 18 years ago, something like that. I don't know because it came out in 91. But I do know that when I saw you couldn't find this for quite a while, and then I just ran across it. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm going to grab that. I threw it in. Don't recall if I ever read any reviews of it. Threw it in the CD player, and I was like, what? Well, okay, let me back up. The first track, Strange and Beautiful, is pretty cool. The lead-off track. Yeah. That sounds, that and the Star Chamber, the Star Chamber, God damn it, are the two that actually sound a little like old Crimson Glory, but not really, because it does have that grunge vibe. Yeah. Here's the deal on this. Atlantic got a hold of these guys and said, hey, that stuff you did there, cool. We're glad you sold 20,000 or 40,000 records over in Europe and stuff. But if you really want to break America, you got to change your writing. And there are outside writers on here, by the way. And that's always a sign of bad shit coming, right?
Of course.
Outside writers putting stuff on your albums, never a good idea, unless it's a cover, and not always a good idea there. This is absolutely 1,000,000% the record label had to have been forcing or pushing John Drenning to write these. I don't know, man, more all-inclusive of genre type
Right.
tracks. And they're long, man. There's some long motherfucking songs on here. Like the first one's like 6.5 minutes. The Star Chamber's like 7.5 minutes, and they're not good long tracks, unfortunately.
No.
I do like the opener quite a bit. The Promised Land, the second. Oh my god! It starts with these samples of like. Do you remember that band Deep Forest? It was like the club sounding stuff with the jungle beats and the drum and bass. Deep Forest, and then the pygmies yelling over and all that shit. It starts with that shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? Then it sounds like 90s butt rock. Midnight tones way down. That's not good at all. This shitty song is 5 minutes long with shouted gang vocals in the chorus. Holy fuck, please no, stop. The guitar solo is the only thing about it good. Love and Dreams is cool. It's an acoustic, kind of cool. It sounds like it should be a Supertramp song, but it's with Midnight singing. I like that song, though. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The chant, absolute garbage for this band. It's like they became a bad Bon Jovi with backing singers and Midnight barely doing anything he used to do. Absolutely terrible. Dance on Fire, those drums sound so sampled, man. And you talked about the drums. It's a drum-heavy album, like percussion everywhere. It's like, what the fuck is this? Were they trying to get played in clubby things and do dance mixes or something weird? I don't know. It has a terrible alt-metal band thing going on. Right away, the stacked vocals are not good. The chorus is so lame, even bluesy at times. And when they all shout dance, I want to break my computer. The next, Dance on Fire. Is that Song for Angels? Casio pianos. For real, what did Atlanta Records do to this band's balls? A piano ballad like this has no place with a piano-led ballad like this has no place with Crimson Glory. Blows my mind how lame this is. In the Mood, solid track, but it's like nothing on the first two albums. Wow. That said, it's one of the few tracks I get into, and Midnight kind of sounds like he did. That was In the Mood. That's not a bad track. It's got a weird female voice doubling his vocals. That's an odd choice.
Yeah, I did hear that, dude. That was kind of cool, I thought.
You like that? I didn't like it.
I thought it was a cool idea. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird how they did that.
The Star Chamber. This is probably the most Crimson Glory soundtrack on the album. Pretty killer, epic, by far the best song. If even half the album was like this, it would have been a pretty killer album. And even if this isn't really that progressive or traditional metal anymore, there's killer guitars and atmospherics. That's the best song. Best song, right? No, it's not my favorite. Not at all. Deep Inside Your Heart. You just know by that title. But actually, it's a solid ballad, although not amazing like the ones on prior two albums. Expectations are a rough thing. When you set the bar as high as you did with those first two albums, you're almost bound to fuck up along the way, right? I mean, those two albums are so goddamn perfect. 9.98 for me, and what'd you do? Give the first one a 9.5, right?
Yeah.
And a 10 and a 15 for the second one. How are you going to top that?
You're not.
Make You Love Me, utterly forgettable. Sorry I listened to this. Basic jam track, nothing remotely interesting. Far Away, Midnight only, final track, solo acoustic piece. Pretty kind of cool, like his solo stuff that he did in the double O's. Early 2000s, he put an album out called Cicada, I think, on 2002. I listened to it online way back when. I never picked it up. I don't even think you can get it now. I am going to give this I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 because I liked 5 out of the 10.
Yeah.
There's 11 tracks. I like 5 out of the 11. So it's really probably like a more like a 4.75. But, dude, we got to talk about what are we doing next time?
I don't know.
Well, you said you had some suggestions. Throw them at me.
Well, I was gonna suggest we do some kind of one-offs, like bands that only had like one record, or like from the 80s. Like, I was thinking of a band called Madam X because they only had one record.
What's his name? Sebastian
Bach, but he didn't sing on that record, but he was in the
afraid he
band.
didn't, yeah. Well, we could throw that in. I think it's going to be tough to find one record bands. Like, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, but there's, I mean, and even like, well, there's certain records.
Oh, you froze. Dennis, you froze completely. Is Dennis froze? Am I still live? Am I still live? Hello? Nick, can you let me know if I'm still live? Am I still live? Dennis froze. Dennis, I'm going to kick you out and bring you back in. I'm still live. Okay, you're frozen. Dennis, come on back in. You there? Did we lose him entirely? Dennis, reboot and come back in. Check your computer and make sure it's plugged in. All right, so here's the deal. We're gonna. Oh shit. Yeah, there you go. He bailed out. All right. We're gonna. Hopefully, he's gonna come back in. We're gonna quick talk about who we might do in March because we're doing about one of these a month. It's just hard with all my interviews and my other deep dives and trying to do some stuff with some other dudes like Marty and Nick and I are gonna try to do something hopefully for his channel. It's hard to do more than these, and you got to get what's up, Alakazam? You just come in, man. We just started. No, we didn't. We didn't just start. Hang on, man. I'm waiting to hear from Dennis. So I have a couple bands that I thought of. One of them's Blue Murder with John Sykes. Blue Murder is a possibility. Coney Hatch is a possibility. Killer Dwarves is a possibility. I had a couple other ones, and I sent Dennis a text, and I can't remember who they were. I got to get him to text me back. Let me check in with him real fast. I just hit Dennis up. We'll see if he is going to come back on. Might do an after stream, Ryan. If you want to jump on that, I'll let you jump in there. I don't know about adding other people to this thing because Dennis and I kind of like to do our thing. Let me think that over. Let me think it over. It's not that I'm trying to be a dick to you or anything like that. I kind of like Dennis and I have a good groove that we get into, and I don't want to get these too big. I do those on other things, and but I do other deep dives where a lot of people come in, and we're thinking about doing Catatonia with a whole bunch of people coming up with Nick and Jake and Jimmy and maybe a few other people that might want to jump in. I'm hoping to get Rick on one, but it's tough getting Rick out right now. He's just got too much going on work and in his private life. I could do Vane. I don't own any Vane, though. We'd have to see. See, here's the thing. I don't want to do any band I don't own anything of. So if I don't actually own the album, and I'm not going to be able, I'm in a financial situation that I can't just go out and buy stuff. You guys want to buy me stuff, I'll take it and I'll review it, but I'm not asking for that. But what I'm getting at is because of my medical situation, which probably won't get resolved till the end of the month or maybe next month, I have to go try to get disability. I have to go to Cleveland for a diagnosis, and it's not a good diagnosis. Don't even know if I'll be alive in March. I just don't even really know. It's a heavy thing to talk about. I don't like getting into it, but it's a reality. I could do Vane. I'm betting any money that Dennis has Vane. I'm wondering if he lost his entire internet because he's not even texting me back. Let me try calling him real quick live on the air. See if we get him.
Hey, dude.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Computer. I'm gonna switch over to my other laptop.
Okay, you gonna jump on then, real quick. We'll wrap up and then I think Nick was gonna jump on with us if you want to do an after for a little bit, maybe an hour or so.
Oh, sounds good.
All right, you can jump on. I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah.
You need the link?
Yes.
You have the link?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
I'm just jumping on my other laptop.
All right, cool.
All right.
See ya.
Wait.
Please jumping back on. We'll wrap up and then we'll maybe do an after stream for an hour or so. Nick, I don't know if you're still in for the after stream. Let me know. Kyle, where are you located, Kyle? Let me know. And Alakazam, where are you located? I'm curious where you guys are at. And Ryan, if you want to jump in the after stream, that's cool. I don't think we're going to be going super duper late. Well, you know what? I got to prepare my Ken Mary interview, so I might be up all night. But I slept till like 3 o'clock today, so I should be okay. Just drink a lot of coffee. You're from Maryland, Kyle? Okay. Nick, you're still here? Okay. We're going to wrap up as soon as Dennis pops on. I just want to go over what we got, our thoughts about stuff. And Kyle, if you want to jump in, I could send you a link. Are you on my Instagram? If you aren't, you should jump on my Instagram. Metal Madness, or no, not Metal Madness. What am I saying? Gas Mask and Hand Grenades. It's in the description. I forget what the hell it is. It's hang on. It is at gas_masks_hand_grenades. Got that? At gas_masks_hand_grenades. If you guys aren't following me there, follow me, and I'll try to hook up with you guys. And there he is.
Sorry about that.
Maybe Kyle and Alakazam, if you guys feel like jumping on, I'd be cool with you jumping on for an hour. So we're not going to go till 4 or 5 in the morning, but we'll probably go maybe an hour and a half or something like that. So yeah, we were talking about bands we might want to do. I kind of want to do this band, New England. We talked about them before. This is 1979, but their other 2 albums are in the 80s.
I've never heard that band, so that would be cool.
You know the one song, "Don't Ever Wanna Lose Ya." Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then here's another band I was thinking about. What do you think of this band?
Oh shit, dude! I totally forgot about that band.
1989, and the other one, which is Burning Time, which I have to go find. I have
that. I have Burning Time.
Burning Time's killer, and this one's pretty weird. It's pretty cool. Why don't we do Last Crack in New England from my end? From my end, let's do those two. What do you got? Right. 2 bands? We can do Madam X because it's only one. We'll throw them in.
I want to do Madam X and I'm thinking Odin.
Oh, from LA?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Do we have the stuff physically?
I have the Odin EP, yeah.
But there's albums. Don't they have albums?
They have 1 record.
Do you have that?
No, I don't have that. That's really hard to get. Actually, the EP.
Do you have the Madam X?
I have the Madam X. I have the Madam X.
I'll tell you what. Let's do the Madam X one. Let's do the Odin EP and the album, but we'll show it, the picture.
Okay.
We're gonna do New England, and what was the other one I said? Jesus Christ! How the fuck did I forget?
Last Crack.
Last Crack, which I think only has 2 albums, although I think they did reform like in 17 or 18, and they might have put another album out. I know they had videos out. They're very grungy now. But that Butto guy still sounds pretty fucking good. What about
Motley Crue wants us to do Vane.
Yeah, Vane. Do you have that?
I have the how many records do they have? I have 1.
1, I think.
I have it.
Okay, we'll throw Vane in.
I mean, so that's only 1. On my side, that's only 3 records. So
that's 3 records, right? So why don't you pick one band that has 2 or 3 records that you know only has 2 or 3 records?
Okay.
Because we got with New England we got 3, and with Last Crack we have 2, maybe 3. I don't want to get beyond like 14 albums. That gets.
Nah, I think like right here we're kind of at our.
Yeah, I think that's our max.
So.
No. You're at 3. I'm at 3. That's 9. So pick a band with 3 or 4 albums. That puts us at where we were at tonight.
All right.
How about Blue Murder? Do you have any of their shit?
No, I don't know any of Blue Murder. I don't.
Oh, I just thought of a 1-band single, dude.
What?
HSAS.
Oh yeah, shit.
I have that. I have that.
I mean, I can get a copy. I've heard it.
Well, I have it. You don't have to have it, but you can listen
Yeah.
to it online. Want to
Yeah,
throw
we can
that one
do
in as
that.
a
Let's
single?
do that.
All right, I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this? Here.
Don't make me break out my Herman Z. German.
Can you write? Yeah, can you write this? Can you write this down? Do you have a pen there?
Yeah,
No?
hold on.
Yeah, write this down. So, because I'm going to forget it. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to last crack, and you
We
just
still
write
got to
two.
do We still got to do what's that damn Mind Funk too. I want to do that.
Oh yeah, how many they have?
One.
Is that it? I thought they had more than that.
I don't think so, dude. I think they only have one.
Okay, hang on.
So I got Crack. We got New England.
Yeah, so last crack, write 2/3, meaning 2 or 3 albums. You got New England is 3 albums. You got Madam X 1.
Yep.
You got Odin is 1 plus EP. What was the one I said that's only one? HSAS.
Yeah.
All right, where are we at album wise there?
We have 1, 2, 3. We have 8 full lengths and 1 EP.
We can add 2. We can have one band in there that has 2 or 3 albums. You know any of them? You know of any of them? Or do you want to kick that around a little bit? What about? Oh! Wait a minute. Hold on. I think I found one. Hold on. One. Hold on. Stay with me. I think you're gonna like this. I think you're gonna like it. And I have all of them in case you don't. Hold on. Right. Because this will kick shit into high gear, dude. And surprisingly, you brought up Herman the German. It's kind of. Oh, come on now. Fucker. Why do you keep doing that? All right, here we go. Hang on. Are we ready? What about doing 1, 2, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Dude. Are you there? Where'd you go?
I'm here.
Oh, I lost you. Yeah, you weren't on the screen. All right. How about this? We're doing it.
Oh yeah, MSG. Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. We're doing Michael Schenker Group 1980, Armed and Ready. I'm sorry. Michael Schenker Group 1980, MSG 1981. We're doing Assault Attack 1982, Built to Destroy 1983, and Rock Will Never Die 84. So that's 5.
All right.
Do we want to do? I'll tell you what. Let's do that, and let's kick New England out.
Okay.
What do you think?
Sounds good to me. I have all those. I think I have all those MSGs on vinyl.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I have the box set. I don't have 2 of the New Englands. We'll do them when I get those other 2 things. So where are we at? What's that leave us with then? 5. That leaves us with
4, 5. So MSG's 4, HAS 1.
No, MSG's 5.
Oh, 5. So HSAS 1, Odin, 1 EP, 1 record, Madam X, 1 record, Last Crack, 2, possibly 3.
Okay, so where does that leave us? That's 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? 11 or 12? That's good. That's a good number there. And that's some good bands, and that's all pretty much all in the 80s. I think they're all in the 80s with the exception of Burning Time might be 90 or 91.
Yep.
But it's right on that borderline. So, all right. Do you want to hang a little bit with some of the other dudes?
Yeah.
All right. Kyle, as far as TNT, we'll see. That's a big catalog. That's probably its own thing. Dennis and I want to do the Scorpions too, and that's its own thing. We want to do Y&T. That's its own thing. There's just too many stuff. Yeah. Yes, Ryan, I said you can join us. Alakazam, did you want to come in? Maybe next time. Burnout. Okay. Kyle, you want to? Yeah, all right. So, Kyle, you can join us. I need to know how I can get a hold of you, though, to get a link to.
Hey, on Alakazam, we can do Infernal Majesty on my channel when we do the thrash stuff. We're just not really hitting thrash stuff.
Yeah, we're not really doing thrash. We're kind of focusing on 80s metal. Just, either not so much hair, but just the kind of, I don't know, you want to call it radio metal, or I guess it is hair, but it's, well, I don't know. We just did a power metal band. We could do thrash, but we could do thrash, but you want to do that, and I want to leave that for you. So I'll leave the thrash to you. But you better have me on, motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Shit's gonna burn, bro. I'm gonna burn some shit down. All right, we got 14.
We'll do like a Canadian special with like Infernal Majesty, Razor, and Sacrifice.
Killer Dwarves. Oh, we were gonna do Kick Axe. Fuck.
Dude, wait a second. Let me show you that kick axe I have. See if you know this one.
Damn it, man. Dude, you can be sick and talk. We're not going to get sick from you. If you want to come in and just hang a little bit and just be part of the thing. And Alakazam, dude, if you're burnt, you don't have to talk, man. If you guys want, you can come on and you can keep your cameras off, but why would you want to do that? I'm trying to be cool and reach out to get more people involved in the community. And I'll be honest with you. If you're a dick, I'll know, and I just won't ever invite you back. That's just kind of how I roll. People know that. People know that shit about me. If I send somebody as a douchebag, they never come back. Yeah, there it is. That's Welcome to the Club, dude. Love that song. I love that album, bro.
That's cool.
I love that album, man. Feels good. Don't stop. Yeah, that's a killer album, man. All right, we're going to jump into a different chat. Look for a different window. I want to close this one up. Thank you for everybody that's been there. All 14 of you, hang around. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Nick's going to jump on, and Ryan's going to jump on. And Frederick, if you want to jump in, I'll let you in, as long as you're not a douchebag. But, see, Frederick's borderline douchebag. He's always right there. I'm kidding, Freddie. You know that. All right, guys. We're going to wrap up, and I'll send you a link in a couple minutes. All right, guys?
All right, guys. Thanks for watching, man.
Peace out. Thank you. All right, Des, hang on a minute. Oh, shit.